Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Oh, wow. We got a couple things I want to run by you. Obviously, yesterday we had the vice presidential debate. I don't know if it was one of the most watched debates in history, but it was anticipated. Tim Walz, J.D. Vance, but certainly nowhere near as much as Trump v. Biden, Trump v. Kamala Harris, Trump v. Hillary Clinton. There's no way in hell the vice presidential debate compared to any of those previous presidential debates, but it is still worthy of discussing. Right off the bat, I want to ask you folks, who do you think won between J.D. Vance and former President Trump? And by the way, this is the first topic. The second one is going to be a doozy. But we're going to talk about the debate. That's topic number one. You know we always have two topics. In regards to the debate, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, first issue is, after having a debate on ABC between Trump and Kamala Harris, where they only fact-checked former President Trump and let Kamala Harris get away with an obvious lie, this is something the Republicans have been stating from day one, is that the media is skewed against them and unfair. And then yesterday we have a debate on CBS, Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, where the rule ahead of time was to not fact-check. Yet they did it again against J.D. Vance. So right off the bat, when the folks on the right, with Trump supporters, Republicans, and conservatives state that the networks seem to be biased in favor of the Democrats, how the hell can anyone say they're wrong? Both debates, the presidential debate and the vice presidential debate, they're only fact-checking the Republican candidates. That doesn't look right. Absolutely, when you can point to lies that Kamala Harris told and she did not get fact-checked. So I'm going to check that one under the Republican side as being correct. It does seem like the debates are skewed in favor of the Democrats. Now, I've said in favor of the Democrats, but as I stated before, in the presidential debate, Trump versus Kamala Harris, I don't think they needed to fact-check Trump. I think Kamala Harris would have still won that debate because Trump was saying some pretty wild shit, in particular Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs. By the way, I've done a few videos on the Haitian migrants and why there's no proof. If there is one thing, one single response I get over and over again from Trump supporters and my beloved MAGA, is that we need to get past this cat and dog eating thing. I get folks in the comments, oh, you still on that? You still, now that's only been 4 weeks ago. It's only been a month ago. You still talking about that? Right off the bat, let me make something clear. I don't believe Biden and Harris did a good job at the damn border. My analysis would be they would get a failing grade. But in addition to defending our border, which I think if you leave the border wide open, I'm not saying they have the border wide open, but I think they could have done a better job in securing the border. It's dangerous to have a country without a secure border. However, the flip side is also true. It is dangerous to have a president that is making up flat out lies on a particular group of people. So my humble opinion is you can talk about both of these things simultaneously. It's not like one needs to be discussed and the other does not. The border absolutely needs to be discussed. I think it's a great selling point for Trump and Vance. But Trump stated Haitian migrants are eating animals. And MAGA, Republicans want folks to get past that and stop talking about it. Fact is, MAGA and Republicans care about innocent animals just like everybody else. So why don't they want anybody talking about it? Because they know it's not true. They know what Trump stated is a lie, and it's hurting their credibility in regards to border issues. So overwhelmingly, anytime I bring up the cats and dogs, well, why are we still talking about that? It's only been 3 weeks ago since he said it. It ain't been that long ago. Why are Republicans so eager to get paid? If it's true that migrants in Springfield are eating animals, shouldn't MAGA want to get to the bottom of it just like everybody else? Why do they want to move on from it? So I do want to point that out, that I'm getting over, anytime I post a video or discuss it, I'm getting folks in the direct message, I'm getting folks on the content, the comment section. All the Trump supporters that I talk to want to get that subject off the table. Stop bringing up that he eats cat, people eat cats and dogs. They don't want to talk about that no more. As I stated, because the border is a legitimate issue. It's a legitimate point of attack against the Democrats. Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs is not. That's a legitimate attack against Trump and his honesty and credibility. So they're trying to get people to get off of it. But we're gonna talk about all that today. But let me just ask you folks, was it not nice, pleasurable, rather enjoyable to watch a presidential debate between two adversaries that came across as rather normal politically? Now, my humble opinion is J.D. Vance did better than Tim Walz. But J.D. Vance is not at the top of the ticket, which is not necessarily in the best interest of Republicans. But I do believe J.D. Vance came across as more polished. Fact is, J.D. Vance doesn't say crazy shit like former President Trump. Notice we are now a little bit less than 24 hours out from the vice presidential debate. There are no crazy ass memes or songs about what J.D. Vance said last night. Whereas by now we were dancing to they're eating the cats and dogs and the pets of people that live here 24 hours after the presidential debate. So J.D. Vance does, appreciate that. Hat and mustache, Teresa, thank you. J.D. Vance does come across as more polished of a politician than Trump. But I promised you guys a second topic that I believe is going to be far more polarizing. It's going to be in the news far more than this vice presidential debate, because that's going to be old news in a week. The vice presidential debate normally don't mean a damn thing, and within a few days, it is in the history books. Even though, like I said, I believe J.D. Vance performed better than Tim Walz. Just came across more polished. He is a Yale graduate. I mean, he's a smart guy. You don't have to agree with him to acknowledge that. But the second topic, which is the title of this live stream, an October surprise. Have you ever heard of the phrase October surprise? October surprise goes back a long way. That generally means right before the election in November, something big comes out that could sway the election one way or another. Last time we had an October surprise was James Comey on Hillary Clinton. And to this day, Hillary Clinton still believes that Comey revelation is what likely cost her the election. Now, keep in mind, MAGA has no love for Jim Comey, former head of the FBI, but many believe that Comey destroyed the Hillary Clinton campaign some 8 years ago. But what might be the October surprise with only 30 days to election day or so? Jack Smith is in the news. And I see in the commentator, somebody put it in caps. Jack Smith, just a few hours ago or just an hour or so ago, apparently has spilled the beans on his entire case. Now, Trump has been savvy. The whole Trump legal team has been really good in delaying the case and preventing anything from ever being adjudicated in court. But Jack Smith was able to find a judge that said, well, shit, if you can't get your case out in court, just let the public know what the hell you have. And he has done so. I believe he has about 190 pages that just went public. You're going to be hearing about this shit a lot in the next week or two, as more and more of the information on those pages are discussed and discovered. This could be a really big October surprise. 165. Somebody said 165 pages. Okay. I heard it was 190. But damn it, that's a lot of information. So I'm going to ask you guys the obvious question before we go to the box. I won't blow over it too much longer. Do you believe Trump did anything wrong to try to maybe sway the outcome of the 2020 election? Now, obviously, he lost the 2020 election. Joe Biden has been the president for the last 4 years. But do you believe he tried to cheat in any way, fashion, or form? Because that is what Jack Smith is alleging, and most likely that is what is going to be in those documents. Now, at the end of the day, most of us have decided whether we're going to go with Trump or go with Kamala Harris. But depending on how egregious that information is, it could cause a swing or so. Certainly among independents. There's a few tiny, minute people that are on the fence. But if something really big comes out where he clearly was trying to cheat or something like that, could sway. I don't think you're going to sway MAGA no matter what. But traditional Republicans and conservatives might be a bit different. So we'll see. We'll see. But those are the two topics today, which is we're going to talk about the vice presidential debate and who do you think may have been more polished, victorious. You know, I'm going with J.D. Vance from last night. And, of course, the potential October surprise. So looking in the comments, who cares? Move on. All charges will be eventually dismissed. WV on YouTube says, who cares? Move on. How the hell can you move on from a case that's never been presented? I mean, why not just come out and scream, I'm for Trump. It does not matter what comes out. I'm just going to go with Trump anyway. Now, Trump may be 100% innocent, but how can you scream, move on from a case that hasn't been adjudicated? The prosecutor should at least have their day in court. You're already at the move on stage. You haven't heard what evidence is going to be presented. Now, I'll go to the box, but that's a perfect example of what I mean when I say some folks are not going to, the evidence means nothing. I mean, that person is already, move on. I don't even need to know what you got. Trump is innocent. I don't give a damn what comes out. He's innocent. Well, then there's not much you can do with that. But let me go straight to the box. Thank you folks that are already tapping the screen. Get the likes up to about 10,000. You know, it helps out the algorithm. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are, always have been, always will be MAGA friendly. Going straight to the box, the one and only Takesha Bowie. October surprise. Takesha, good afternoon. What say you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, I wanted to say that Lil Pledge did do a good job last night of faking who he really is. I started to ask him, did he have a Honda Accord for sale? Because he sounded just like a car salesman. So, yeah, Lil Pledge was real polished. I'm going to call him Lil Pledge.
Now, you're talking about J.D. Vance.
He was very polished last night. So we just going to name him Lil Pledge. You know that.
So no chance that J.D. Vance was indeed being authentic. You believe he was being
J.D. Vance was lying like hell. That's why he got mad when he said, "Wait a minute now, you said no fact checking." He should have just said, "Cause I've been lying all night now. You let me lie." Now let me explain something. He sounded good. He was very articulate. His eyeliner was on point, and he was lying.
But I gotta push back.
He told a couple of lies himself. He avoided the question about, his time when he was supposed to be over in China. I can agree. Both of them lied. But J.D. Vance had a trunk full of lies, an eye full of eyeliner. Like I said, I'm going to call him Lil Pledge. I got tired of hearing about his mama. We all know that she left you with your grandma. Move the fuck off.
You're going to bring up that you got tired of hearing about J.D. Vance's grandma. Every time you ask Kamala Harris a question, I grew up in a middle-class family. She does that too.
Was Kamala in the debate?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then you tell us to stop doing that.
Okay.
Bringing up other people when we talking about somebody else, then you tell us to stop
that. Well, then let me give you this one. I got to push back on the grounds of they actually had agreed to a rule that there would be no fact-checking Yet they, once again, just like ABC did with Trump, decided to fact check the Republican candidate and let the Democrat get away with it.
Hold on. They fact checked Tim Walz on the story of him saying he was over in, was it China at a certain time?
I didn't hear him fact check.
Hold on. He went all around that question. They came right back to him and said, sir, so are you saying you were there or not? That's fact checking.
That's not fact checking. That is holding. Wait, hold on.
You do is tell the truth.
Fact checking is when you say something and they follow up and correct it by saying there's no evidence to say what you're saying is true. All they did was gave him a second chance to answer the question he avoided. That's not fact checking. They put him back on topic.
Tim.
Okay.
Tim.
Go ahead.
Basically what they told us was he lied, and we tried to give him a chance to correct his lie.
Nah, I don't know. That's
what I got from it, because they knew he was lying.
Yeah, but
I'm not sugarcoating it for neither one of them, because at the end of the day, I don't give a damn who the vice president is on a debate stage. I'm voting for the president, and prayerfully they could, get them together and they could, be their protege. But the debate was boring as hell to me. I'm sorry. I turned it off and turned it back on until I said, damn, I can't keep sitting here watching this because I'm falling asleep. It's boring as hell. They was too nice to each other. You would have thought they was the Brady Bunch boys stand up on that stage looking at each other with admiration. I couldn't take it.
But is that not a good thing? Getting back to why not?
I wanted some entertainment.
Have we not had too much of that? People are getting.
I wanted some entertainment. Because at the end of the day, the vice presidential debate doesn't really matter. So just give us a bang. Go out with a bang.
No,
give me something to laugh at.
No. Let me say it like this.
I'm
after the recent, last couple presidential administrations, it should be nice to finally have two adversaries that can spar with each other, but when it comes down to it, come across as two genuine human beings that are concerned with each other's welfare instead of just bashing the shit out of each other for 90 minutes. That's what you wanted to see again?
Tim, that's your opinion.
Right.
I know what entertains me. Yeah, I wanted to be entertained.
Okay. So you want...
I've already made my choice. So that debate was not going to sway me, and it wasn't going to make me change my mind. So I just wanted me a little entertainment.
Okay. So you don't favor unity. You favor the division, the sparring, the going...
I favor unity, but I wanted to see a little fire in both of them because they were too calm for me.
Right. Calm and being peaceful, that doesn't give you what you want. You want entertainment. Entertainment is generally not unifying. It's going to be argumentative and divisive.
Let me tell you something, Tim. Like I said, that debate did not matter. It didn't sway anybody's vote.
Okay. Now, Sam
wanted to be a little more entertaining.
And speaking of entertaining, Sam in the comments is stating she wants drama and hate. Now that's what people are hearing, Takesha, is that you want.
I don't give a damn what they hearing. I just told you why I wanted it.
Yes, you wanted.
I didn't say for hate. I said I wanted to be entertained, and I wasn't. Okay. To me, I gave my opinion. To me, it was kind of boring.
Well, then you have already inspired one of my viewers. Guess what? On YouTube says, ignorance is bliss, right? And he says Takesha, but he spelled it T-U-H, Quisha, Q-U-I-S-H-A. So he's saying that ignorance...
He's not talking to me if he spelled it like that.
Okay. But
that's not my name.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he definitely not talking to me. If he can't see those letters in that box, then yeah, ignorance is bliss. So anyway, let's go to the next topic. What was the next one?
And the next topic is indeed the possibility of an October surprise. Do you think Jack Smith, what he is trying to present, might sway some voters? Do you think
there's... Let me tell you something. I have been so excited ever since I heard it, Tim. I've been over here rubbing myself like a man is. I'm excited, Tim. I have never been so excited. Tim, listen. I feel like we're finna get a naked novel coming out. I'm just that excited, Tim. I can't wait to read it. And guess what Maga gonna say?
It's a witch hunt.
He didn't do it.
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
So what do you think? Do you think that Jack Smith is indeed just simply trying to derail Trump's presidency, or do you think Trump may have actually done something in terms?
Let me explain something to you, Tim. And I want you to think about this and think about this real good. What is the only way that Donald Trump can't run for office?
Well, you're saying that but he's not going to be found guilty of anything in the next 30 days.
Answer the question. What's the only thing that would keep him from serving as president?
Like an act of treason?
Oh, okay, now let's leave it right there. You keep saying that this stuff is political, but the cases that he's already been, went through, that is not going to stop him from being the president.
Hold on, though. You asked what could stop Trump from being president. Somebody in the comments, mountain loving mama, wow, female. She said unaliving him. So
you know what? Mountain loving, don't do that. Don't do that, Mountain.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
God. But that is true, I suppose. You can't be president if you're not living. Damn.
She ain't lying, though.
That was mean. Funny, but mean.
Let me say this, Tim. Nobody's 100% innocent, and they're not going to make me believe Donald Trump is 100% innocent, that he had nothing to do with what was going on, that he was not complicit in what went on. Nobody's going to make me believe that he did not sit there smiling, eating his Big Mac while he was watching that go on when he could have stopped it. I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to believe that he wasn't in the plans before, and I'm not going to believe he wasn't in the plans while it was going on. When he found out Mike Pence wasn't going to do what he wanted to do, he sent out a full tweet. You don't do that when you already know these people are upset and at this Capitol. He wanted it to happen. I don't care who say he didn't. He wanted it to happen because he's a narcissist and they can't take rejection.
Well, but there's a difference between him wanting and him actively.
He got involved in it. Yeah. Where are the missing minutes on the phone with no conversation? Where are those records, Tim?
They're somewhere stored with
on the burner phone burning up. That's where it's at, Tim.
They're stored with Hillary Clinton's emails. I don't know.
Let me explain. Let me say this.
They're on Hunter Biden's laptop.
Tim.
Yes.
What may not come out in the wash will definitely come out in the rinse.
Ooh.
You ain't gonna you think you be the playing stuff so good. You ever watch Matlock?
A long time ago. Andy Griffith,
okay.
Yeah.
Did you see how them folks thought they had strategically planned that murder and thought they were going to get away? And Matlock found the smallest thing that proved they did the murder.
Yeah, but will this
always get caught?
But will this make any difference in the next 30 days? Because if Trump becomes president, Jack Smith's going to lose his job.
Let me say this. It's not going to make a difference to his MAGA supporters. It's not. They don't care if Trump killed their mama. They'll say, well, she had to go sooner or later. He just helped us out. Paul, don't get mad. He just helped us out. She was going to the doctor. Doctor probably was going to give her a bad report. So Trump just took her out of her misery before she got in it.
You don't really believe that, do you? You don't really believe. That's what MAGA would say. You don't really believe that, do you?
Yes, I do. I believe they just that dedicated to him. Yes, I do.
So let me ask you this question then. Based on you suggesting you believe MAGA is that dedicated to former president, why do you think that is? Why do you think they would be that dedicated to one man? What is he offering? Was the economy that good?
Tim, a lot of people don't believe in the Bible, but the Bible talks about people that can fool the very elect of people. That they can deceive them so bad that they just follow behind these people.
But he has to be.
What did Jim Jones have? What did Jim Jones have?
Jim Jones was promising eternal life. What is Trump promising that would make people?
And Trump is promising eternal love and eternal racism can be bolded in the black letters on a T-shirt.
Eternal racism. You believe that?
Yeah.
You believe
Yeah.
Trump to his supporters is promising that if you elect me, I'm going to promote racism? What are you saying?
I'm gonna let you be just as racist as you want to be without the black folks stomping you. That's what he told them.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so why are there so many?
He's selling them a dream, Tim. They want a leader for real. A lot of people want to be led. I don't understand why they would rather be followers than leaders. But a lot of people want to be led. Let me say this. A lot of people didn't get the love they needed as children. And they see Trump as their chance at love.
Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be loved, but the way you're making it sound, it leads to the obvious question. If Trump is so racist or whatever, why are there so many blacks that support Trump?
Black men, mostly black men, because y'all don't have good common sense. Y'all really don't, Tim. I'm going to tell you an example of how y'all don't have common sense. Y'all don't even know how to cheat. Y'all cheat, y'all whole pattern change, you get caught. A woman can have two men. She gonna still come home and act like he the only man. She gonna love on him, lay up on him. Y'all think y'all in marital bliss, and she got a whole man on the south side. Her body there with you, but her mind on the other side of town. Y'all don't have common sense, Tim.
Okay. I don't know where the hell to go with that. All right, Takesha. You just made me want to think next time I'm with somebody to make sure I check they don't have another whole man on the south side. I got it. All right, Takesha. Appreciate you coming through. You just depressed me with that.
You'll be all right, Tim.
I hope so. Thank you. Moving on with the program. That's what we're asking in regards to an October surprise. Does Jack Smith have a whole nother girlfriend on the south side? Does Jack Smith have what could derail former President Trump's campaign? I mean, this is coming out within 30 days. Now, the Trump campaign is suggesting the only purpose of him doing this is timing it to try to make a dent in Trump's efforts. Trump is suggesting that they've seen how well J.D. Vance performed last night, and they got to do something to counter it. So what say you, folks? What say you? Going back to the comment section in the box, by the way, she racist. This came from Kamala Swallow the Kids. So I guess you kind of know the opinion from anybody with a name like Kamala Swallowed the Kids. Damn. But he refers to my last caller as racist Section 8. I don't know what to do with that. While she drunks the blue Kool-Aid. She's talking sense now. Women don't cheat all the time. Takesha always brings out some interesting comments. All right, going back to the box. Why would he release this if he actually cared about the case? He doesn't. He's a hitman. Before I go back to the box, I'll address that. I think it says Matt Boyle, something like that. Why would he release it if he actually cares about the case? Because he knows if Trump wins, he'll never get a chance to present the case forward. It's not like Trump is eager to prove his innocence in court and get this behind him. I think we all know, whether you feel Trump is innocent and you feel he's guilty of sin, I think we all agree one thing. If Trump gets elected, you'll never know. You're not going to hear an innocent or a guilty verdict if Trump wins. That case is going away. So why would he produce it now? Maybe he feels Trump may win, and this is the only chance to get... I mean, Jack Smith did do a lot of work behind his case. Even if you think it's all bullshit and all a witch hunt, he's clearly done a bunch of work. That's what he's been working on. That's what Merrick Garland gave him to work on. So if Trump gets elected, Merrick Garland and Jack Smith are going to get fired, and you'll likely hear from whoever replaces them that the feds have deemed this case, to be irrelevant or whatever the case may be. In the cases, we have now thrown the case out. If Trump gets reelected, that case is going away. So maybe Jack Smith figured this is the only way I'll ever be able to tell the people what I got, because if Trump wins, not only is he going to get rid of Jack Smith and Merrick Garland, whatever information that Jack Smith has would probably be sealed, and that would never come forward either. So this might have been the only chance for Jack Smith to get out what he had. Let me go back to the box we'll go straight to. And by the way, it's always appreciate to get a few females on the program. Most of my guests are males, so we don't get as many females. So always a pleasure. Deisha D. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Deisha.
Good afternoon.
Hey. So what do you think? You think Merrick Garland is on to something, or he's just simply trying to derail Trump's chance of winning?
Well, I hope he derails it, but I don't think he will. I don't think anything will happen to Trump. I don't think any of these cases are going to be fruitful and go anywhere. And just from what I see, there seems to be a lot of... I don't understand how he's not in jail already. So I don't understand the way, things are working in his favor.
What crimes do you believe Trump has actually committed?
Well, I think he's been a swindler his whole life. He's always cheated people out of things, his employees. He's had so many cases through the years of getting sued, just for simply just being, corporately crooked. And, I don't understand how he gets away with things and still comes out in a lot of people's eyes as a great guy. I don't understand it. But it's not for me to understand. I don't think he's going to win the presidency, but then I also don't think that even if he doesn't win, I don't think those cases will be fruitful.
Oh, so you believe even if Trump loses, nothing's going to come out of that?
I don't think so.
Why not? Kamala Harris would be in charge. You think the Democrats would just give him a pass?
I don't think they're going to give him a pass, but you have to understand that a large amount of people, this is why even on certain news stations, they don't really fact check him that much. They don't really push the issue, the envelope. It's because a lot of people are supporting him, and they don't want riots or things to get out of control. They're really using white gloves when it comes to him. They don't really want to go as far as they should go, in my opinion.
Are you saying that you make it sound like the powers that be are handling Trump with kid gloves because they're kind of afraid of MAGA or something?
I think so. I don't have any other explanation for why they're not doing more.
Do you feel like if Trump loses, there may be violence from MAGA?
I think that there may be on a small scale, but I don't think there'll be with some of the videos I've seen them saying, "Oh, we're going to tear stuff up," and blah. I don't think it's going to be that, because at the end of the day, they got to go to work on Monday, and I don't think they're going to give up their careers and livelihoods. They might, I don't know, but I don't see it. And, what about the idea that if Trump loses in the best interest of the nation, he would call for calm and peace? What?
No, I'm saying, if Trump wins, let's say Trump loses, and things do get to be hot and heavy, what about the possibility of him calling for calm and peace? And
why didn't he do that on January the 6th? He's had an opportunity to do that. That's not his style. That's not his things. Calm and peace. He loves chaos. This is what he breeds. This is why he's creating a whole thing where people hate migrants. This is it's no reason to villainize asylum seekers and migrants. You know what I'm saying? This is his thing. Is divide and conquer and create chaos. And if it's not his thing, then why is he doing it?
Well, when he went to the Capitol building on January 6th, did he not tell the crowd to go peacefully and patriotically? He wasn't calling for violence that day.
He told them that after 3 to 5 business days of them tearing up the Capitol?
No. I'm saying when they went to the Capitol, they had already been told by Trump to go peacefully and patriotically. He told them to go to the Capitol peacefully.
But this was already after him and several Republicans had been throwing out little dog whistles like fight, fight, take your country back, save your country.
Yeah.
They're trying to take your country from you. Okay, so after you say this like telling me, hey, somebody's trying to hurt take your kid away from you. You better get down there and do this. Hey, but don't get crazy. Be peaceful. I'm already revved up. What do you mean? I'm not about to be peaceful. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, that is true. The crowd was pretty damn hyped up by the time he said peacefully,
I'm not
patriotically.
misinformed. I'm very informed. I do a lot of reading. I studied political science. I'm not misinformed. Trump is a crook and a swindler. And if you want to vote for him, vote for him. That's perfectly fine. I just think at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to get inside that booth to vote, and they're going to realize that they're voting for somebody who's going to be creating a lot of division. A lot of you guys are young that I see on TikTok who talk about Trump, and you guys don't remember how exhausting it was for him to be president, how exhausting it was to turn on the TV every day. This man was on TV every day talking about
but the counterpoint is
to get rid of your COVID.
He
was saying the most unhinged things on a daily. It was exhausting. I was embarrassed for the country. It was exhausting.
But the counterpoint. But Deisha, the counterpoint, you say
better 4 years ago.
Hold on.
Better 4 years ago, no.
You're saying a lot of people don't remember and they're young. I'm going to push back and say a lot of people can tell you they do remember being able to purchase fuel for $2 a gallon. They do remember turning on TV and all of our allies were not at war. They do remember going grocery shopping and being able to afford their groceries.
More American soldiers got killed while Trump was in office than this administration. We always want to rewrite history and say, we can't control what's going on with other countries. And y'all really feel like because Trump was in office, other countries weren't at each other. Okay, fine. If that's how people want to look at it, they can look at it like that. That's perfectly fine. But I know one thing. We're not going to pretend like COVID didn't happen. We're not going to pretend like that was a once-in-a-century type event that caused businesses to shut down because it was mishandled by Trump. And then the next administration had to come in and clean all of that mess up that he created with COVID. And it's like any good that came out of it is because of him. Any bad that came out of it is because of the next people.
So then let me ask you this before moving on from you, Deisha, and I do appreciate you coming through. Is there can you name one redeeming quality of the Trump administration? Did he do anything good for America, in your opinion?
Let's see. I think that Trump did a really good job of taking credit for Obama's policies and the things that he put in. He rode those coattails really well. And he pretended like he made Obamacare better, even though he didn't do anything but try to undo it, and it was very unsuccessful. He 2% of the wall he promised to build got built. Good job there. 2% is better than zero. Let's see, what else did he do? He created a lot of divisions. There was a lot of shootings, racial shootings during that time he was in office.
Wait a minute. You're blaming racial shootings on Trump? How?
No, I'm not blaming it on him. I'm blaming it on the rhetoric that was so rampant around that time. It was.
Give me an example of some of Trump's rhetoric that may have sparked a racial shooting.
I'm not just saying Trump. I'm just going to
say
that's
what we're talking about, though.
Okay, but I'm going to say that he wasn't stopping that. It was a lot of that replacement talk that was going around at that time. It was a lot of talking about people on the borders, crossing the border and the wall and this, and they're rapists and killer, and I don't know what I could say on TikTok.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to go to in detail, but there was a lot of that talk. Remember what happened in Texas at the store?
Would you be willing to admit that the border under Biden is not as secure as it was under Trump?
I would be willing to admit that Obama had the best border. Remember, he was called the border in chief.
Okay, we're talking about Trump and Biden, though.
Hold on. And I would be willing to admit that Trump rode some of that success from the border at that time. But remember, the border crosses started to rise under Trump, and they've risen even farther under the current. Now, let me just make one thing clear. If you think that I liked President Biden, you're wrong. Didn't like him. Didn't want him to be president. I didn't like him when he was going against Obama back in their primaries. Never wanted Biden to be president. Okay? And I'm not saying he's horrible or he did a bad job. I just personally did not. I felt that Biden was an undercover Republican. Okay? That was my initial thought of him.
God damn. Sorry. Wow.
But then, he did have some redeeming.
I don't know if my caller had a call. We'll give her a second to come back. Are you there? Okay, maybe.
I'm here.
Okay, so you didn't favor Biden that much, but sound like you think Trump was terrible. You couldn't give me really one.
I did.
He didn't do anything good for America. Sounds like.
He did a lot of good. Oh no, wait a minute. Oh, you know what? Let me stop being so hard on him. He did a lot for the 1%. He did. He made sure they had great time. Let me tell you something, because Trump got on my nerves. When you go to do your taxes now,
yeah,
because of his tax plan, a lot of things for working at home, I can't even file anymore because all that was taken out. My taxes were so high, I've owed for the last 2 years. I've never owed before.
Wow.
And it's just, I've always been able to break even. I've owed, and I'm not talking about 500, 1,000. I'm talking about thousands. Okay? Because a lot of things that I can't claim anymore. So, yeah, he did great things for the rich and his friends and those corporations. And they say, hey, Trump, let us get this and we'll give you.
Then why the hell is so many blacks supporting him, Tisha? Why is that?
So many black what?
There are his numbers among the black community are better than most Republican predecessors in our lifetime, like McCain, Romney, Reagan, Bush. Trump is doing better with African Americans than any of the other Republican predecessors in our lifetime. Why is that?
Okay, somebody's saying I'm lying, but put the lie in the chat. Call out the lie I've said. Okay, but why are these people voting for him? I think that I think I saw a lot of black men who are voicing, and black women who are voicing they want to vote for Trump. And honestly, no disrespect to them, I think that a lot of them are angry because of, the rising in prices, which has nothing to do with the president. I think they're angry because of just everything that's been happening, in all the rhetoric and things like that. But it's misplaced anger. It has nothing to, the presidents don't, change the food prices. And I just think that a lot of people need to be more educated in what's going on and just be more factual, because I've went to a lot of people's TikToks and looked at their videos that are voting for Trump. I just don't ever hear facts. It's just like they all go to Twitter and TikTok University, and they come back with these unhinged things. Okay, the president doesn't create inflation, genius. That was created by
I get your point. I do get your point. Some things presidents get blamed for that are not their responsibility. But if it's happening,
to keep saying why hasn't Kamala? She's the vice president. They're literally an understudy. They do nothing. Yeah. You've never heard of Pence doing anything. You didn't hear of. I don't know. Cheney might have did something because he was doing weird stuff. But listen, vice presidents are a backup in case the president, something happens to that.
That is the predominant, and you're right, that's the predominant duty of the vice president. But I got to move it on, Disha. Spirited conversation. Right. Thank you for coming through. First step talking.
Y'all go vote blue. Stop being funny. It's not a joke, okay? Hey, no, you know what? You can tell everybody you voted for Trump, but then get in the booth and vote for Kamala, because we all know you. Come on. Vote for your interests. Y'all was poor when Trump was in office, and you still poor. Stop acting like he made y'all rich.
All right, teacher. All right. And by the way, folks, listen, at the end of the day, your perception is your reality. A lot of folks that support Trump do not feel like they were poor when he was in office. They feel like their 401k, their retirement, they could do a lot more with their money than they can under Kamala. But your perception, or under Biden, rather. But your perception is your reality. Now, one thing I will want to speak on before I go back to the box, and by the way, don't let your thumbs be lazy. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 30,000. We can certainly make that happen. 30,000, Thou. Get your point likes up. Helps out the program, brings in more algorithm, helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So understand that's how free speech works on this program. You're going to hear opinions you agree with, others you think are ridiculous. We go left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with QAnon. We let everybody speak. You don't have to agree with any damn body in the comment section up to and including the host. It's all about free speech here. That's how we work. If you enjoy that type of dialogue, follow the program on TikTok. We're here Monday through Friday. A subscription on YouTube, if you will. That's how we do it. Just to follow up, one thing she said that I am personally dealing with myself, and that is the tax changes of former President Trump. Because I, too, am a independent contractor, small business owner. She's kind of correct about that. The amount of deductions that I used to be able to partake in, tax deductions, write-offs, the way Trump structured the tax system, yeah, she is right. Whole lot of shit you used to be able to claim, you cannot do that anymore. She's not lying about that. I can tell you that because I'm dealing with it myself. I definitely, personally, just me, a lot of you folks may have a difference of opinion or think I'm full of shit. Feel free to state that in the comments. But I will say this. For me personally, I preferred the system before Trump did that. Because I could write off so much shit that I cannot now. I mean, like, for instance, even for this live stream here, I do get some monetary benefit from it, so I should be able to write off the devices I'm using to bring this show to you folks. A lot of shit I used to be able to write off, I can no longer do that. My day job is the same way. So I don't disagree with her there because that has affected me personally. When we talk about the border security and the economy on other issues as we continue on. So looking in the comments though, somebody said I don't pay taxes. Freddie Dorsey. Good luck with doing that for a while. When they catch up with you, say hello to P. Diddy. John Kerry moved his boat to Rhode Island to avoid taxes. I think a lot of them folks that are moving to Florida are doing that as well. By the way, if you're going to bring up a politician not paying taxes, didn't Trump come on the scene and brag about not paying taxes, indicating that made him smart? So, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. People are avoiding paying taxes any way they can. Mr. Splackaville, blacks who vote for Trump aren't black, says. Now, he's saying that Biden made that statement. And now, blacks who vote for Trump aren't black. He's talking about the vote for me or you ain't black statement by Biden that he made on Breakfast Club to Charlamagne the God. I think that statement lost some value when Trump made a counter statement that did not get the same amount of fanfare as vote for me or you ain't black. But Trump did say that if you are Jewish and you don't vote for him, you hate Israel, you hate your country, you hate your religion. So he essentially said the same thing, vote for me or you ain't Jewish. The only difference is the left didn't play it up. But you can easily find it on YouTube. You can Google it and see him saying it. It's not some media report. You're watching it come out of his mouth. So he also made a similar statement. It just didn't get the same amount of attention. But he basically said, vote for me or you ain't Jewish. Looking at the comments, I got screwed with my taxes under Trump because I'm not rich enough to take advantage of Trump's taxes. Wow. Yeah, get a good tax person and play the game. Yeah, that costs money, by the way. Going back to the box. So you make $40,000 more, but you're upset if you have to pay extra $1,000 in tax. Yeah, but I don't think most Americans were making a $40,000 difference between Trump and Biden. We can talk about Trump's economy being better. It wasn't that fucking better. You're trying to tell me the difference between Trump? Most Americans are not seeing a gap anywhere near like that. That's insane. Let me go back to if it was that big, Kamala Harris and Biden would not be competitive against Trump. If people were making that kind of money under Trump and it dropped that badly to Biden, the Democrats wouldn't be competitive. It would be like Reagan, where he won like 49 states or something like that. Going back to the box, Travis Rouse, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Travis. I work under the table, says Freddie. All right. If you can get away with that, shout out to you. Nobody made no money when Donald Trump was president. Everybody lost money, plus everybody died. Jesus. Larry, that's not true. That's not true. Damn, that's depressing, no? I'll give the box a moment to reset. I tried to bring up a guest, and apparently it's not going to do it. I do appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. I'm going to keep soliciting that. DJ Julio, got your boy looking like Elvis. Thank you for your support. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes up to about 40,000. Smash that like button on YouTube. 60, can we do that? Top right-hand corner of your screen gives you access to the like button. For my YouTube viewers, smash that like button. I'm paying more tax. I'm paying more in taxes, says Safety King. Good thing I'm making more money. I will say this, and I'll go back to the box. One difference that the Biden administration economically does not get credit for, because we're always talking about the Trump economy was allegedly better than the Biden economy. One benefit to the Biden economy is the salaries are higher. Because certainly after the pandemic, to get people to go back to work, they had to propose incentives, and one of them was a pay increase. A lot of states, liberal states, have raised their minimum wage significantly. Salaries under the Biden administration are definitely higher than they were under Trump. Trump was bragging about creating jobs and things like that. He wasn't bragging about salary increases. Any president can say, I created a bunch of jobs. Well, how much are those jobs paying? I mean, creating a bunch of bullshit jobs when you got to work 3 of them to get by is not an accolade. How much are they paying? They don't normally tell you that. I love how you highlight both sides, says Aaron Michael. Thank you for that. Appreciate the accolade. Let me go back to, because I don't think both sides, I don't think either side is all bad. There are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump, legitimate reasons to vote for Kamala, legitimate reasons to dislike Trump, legitimate reasons to dislike the left. Dencal, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Dencal. I received a small salary increase, but taken away by utilities and groceries and gas. That has happened to some people too. Dencal, good afternoon.
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. Did you catch the debate last night?
I did.
I'm hearing that from what I've seen and what I'm hearing in my personal analysis, it sounds like J.D. Vance may have kicked a little bit of ass. What say you?
No, I would say, I mean, they were pretty evenly matched to me. I mean, J.D. Vance is a lot more polished because, yes, he's an Ivy League grad, but they both, I mean, they seem to be able to get their points across. I thought Walz used more actual, like, past legislation and things that actually happened where Vance was just talking about he did it before, so he'll do it again. Like, that's not really a policy prescription. That's not details of what you're going to do. They tried to get it out of him. They said, well, hey, y'all going to mass deport all these people. How you going to do it?
Yeah.
We're just going to empower the local police. That's not, you don't get rid of millions of people by just using the police that's out there already.
I gotta push back as usual. Remember, you and I've talked plenty of times. Remember, Trump is promising to bring back stop and frisk. He's promising to give police immunity from prosecution, talking about having a rough night. If the police get the amount of power that Trump is suggesting he wants to give them, you could deport a whole lot of people. If you can randomly stop folks and go in their cribs when you got immunity, You can get a whole lot of immigrants out of here if you get them that kind of power where they basically have no accountability. He could do it.
I would give you a simple mathematical equation to let you know what it would be. Mm-hmm. You take 10 million people, you divide that on a calculator by 365 days, and then you tell me how many people that they would have to displace and move in the country in 1 year, and it will be clear that there's no way they can move that amount of people. Where would you put them at? How would you get rid of them? All of that stuff is going to cost billions of dollars. It's not going to be, well, hey, we just grabbed this guy because we stopped and frisked him and he don't have his papers, so now we take him down to the station. It's going to have to be thousands and thousands of people.
I hear your point, Dencal, but I don't think when it comes to MAGA and the way they feel about immigrants and the need to get them out of here, I think you could easily find plenty of MAGA that own ranches in wide open Wyoming or Idaho somewhere that would gladly donate some land to build a structure to house these folks so that they can be deported.
Well, you know that if you know the government, they cannot, you can't use private property to conduct a governmental function. That's why they couldn't use that extra money to build the wall, was because the government can't use private funds or private donations to conduct government business.
How does private prisons work then?
They have a contract that they have established. They're not about to establish a contract.
They'll establish a contract. They can do the same thing. They'll just establish a contract.
What you're saying is that these people that want to get these people are cool with concentration camps. Is that what you're saying now?
That is exactly what I'm saying. Just like with a private prison, if you're going after illegals first, because they're going to go after the asylum seekers and all them too that are here legally, but let's start with the illegals. They have already committed a crime. They are here illegally. That's a crime. So if you create private prisons, you have nothing stopping you from locking them up. They're here criminally. So that's already got to be at least 1 million of them right there, just going after the illegals first.
No, because then you would have to, first of all, you'd have to change the law to make them illegal. Because right now, if they're here on asylum, they're not illegal. We just keep calling them illegal.
No. I get your point, Dencal. I get your point. The asylum seekers are not here illegally. The Haitian migrants are not here illegally. That's why I said 1 million. I didn't say like Trump, where he says 18, 20 million. I said there is a bunch of them that are here illegally. I'm talking about people who overstayed their visa, maybe a few of them that snuck in across the Rio Grande. There are illegal immigrants in the country too. So I'm saying they can get them first because they already have committed a crime. Now they could come up with processes to speed up the asylum claims because they know them folks are not going to show up as well and they'll soon become illegal. Most of the folks here legally claiming asylum, they don't have a legitimate reason to be here. They know when that case comes up, if it's a Republican in power, they're going to get kicked out. So Trump would speed that shit up so that those cases come up quicker and them folks are going to be on the run. All of them become illegal as well.
I hear what you're saying, and I know you like to play devil's advocate, but that shit ain't going to happen.
Why wouldn't it happen?
It's not going. Man, the gears in this government that it would take, the loopholes that he would have. I mean, he would literally have to be like a dictator, because nobody's going to go. Everybody's not going to just. You saying, well, yeah, he could use the local police. Everybody's not going to go along with that shit.
No, but you got probably at least, I dare say, probably 40, 50% of the country that would. We know MAGA would do it. And there's plenty of Democrats like my family that's in Chicago that want them out. You would get some Democrats that would go along with it. I think it could be done a lot more than you might realize, Dencal. I really think...
And that's the main reason why we got to make sure he don't do this shit on November 5th.
Okay.
Because that's just one thing that he's talking about doing this at the same time. The people think he's going to magically come in and he's going to change. He's going to make all the businesses lower their prices, while at the same time he's going to install tariffs on all countries around the world. At the same time, he's going to be doing all of this stuff without without Congress or nothing. He's just going to come in and make everybody's life better.
Just in defense of Trump, every politician makes a few promises that's never going to be met. I get that. But I'm telling you, when it comes to the promise of the largest deportation in history, no, he's not going to get every damn immigrant out of the country. But he could live up to the dream of the largest deportation in history. He could get a lot of them out of here by some of the methods I just described.
Yeah, true. Obama, he figured out a way to speed up the process, and they called him deporter in chief, but he didn't do it inhumanely. He didn't do it in a way where he was rounding up folks like cattle and putting them on private farms so we can get these. so yeah, it's possible that he could remove a lot of people, and you got to understand that a fraction of those people are not going to be the illegals. The good people are going to get caught up in this situation.
Oh, damn right. Now, I'll give you an example. He's talking about the Haitian migrants in Springfield, getting rid of them. Now, they're here legally, but Ohio's a Republican state, and if Trump is president, he has a Republican Supreme Court. My guess is they would be able to create some sort of law in Ohio that a Republican Supreme Court would agree with, that would allow him to get, I don't know if it would get him out of the country, but they would get him out of Springfield. So I do believe he's able to do a lot more than you might realize.
Well, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't use Springfield as a case, because the governor and the mayor are the ones who brought the people there. They needed them there to fill those jobs.
Yeah, but they didn't
just turn around and say, well, screw it, get rid of them, because they have an agreement with those companies that brought those factories there.
That's true, but you're talking about the power of Trump. That Republican governor, Republican mayor of Springfield may have thought that was a good idea, but how hard do you think it would be for Trump in the weight of MAGA to convince them, maybe I made a mistake?
Well, he could. Well, I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal for him to do that, because if he won the election, then he wouldn't have to worry about running again. But I was going to say, like, when you start going against popular governors in your state and doing stuff against them that, some of the people think is good for their state, he could run the risk of alienating those voters. And that could be in the midterms, that could be in special elections. Like, he could do a lot to destroy the rest of the Republican Party. And I know that's not important to him, but there's got to be life after Trump, regardless if he wins this time or not. And when people think that only one person is in position to make their life better, our life needs to be better beyond 4 years.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just simply telling you how it is. If you are a Republican and you go against the policies and wishes of Trump, you're not going to be around when Trump's gone anyway. Your whole damn career is going to be gone by then. And that is what would happen with the governor of Ohio and the mayor of Springfield. If Trump gets in there and he's trying to get rid of these Haitian migrants, and they come up with all of this, well, they got protected class and they're here legally, and they start defending those immigrants, the governor of Ohio is out of a job come the next election, and he would need security until that point. And the same thing with the mayor of Springfield. It's over with for both of them. They'll never be a Republican anything again.
Exactly. And the Republicans sitting here listening to this conversation right now, hearing it, if they're not afraid of that, if they're not afraid of one man having that much power to destroy people at a whim, regardless if they're doing good or bad, that is what all of those most of those 81 million people who voted against him, that's why we did it. Not because we liked it, Biden, because we did not want anybody with that type of power ruling over this country.
Well, they believe he has the country in its best interest, and that he loves America. They believe he's doing what's right, so they're willing to give him that kind of power.
They think he loves their America, but America doesn't belong to them. It belongs to all of us now. I know it used to be like that back in the day. It's no longer like that. there's going to be pushback when you get to the lower levels of government that people are not anticipating when they're talking about deportation forces. It's already cops and stuff talking about, I'm not going to be involved in that. Period.
Then you won't be a cop anymore. Sound like you're interfering with making America great again, Decal. I gotta move it on though. Sound like go ahead.
One quick thing is that they coming out with Jack came out with a report.
Yes. October surprise.
He putting all the business on the street.
Yeah. I get the feeling we're gonna be doing several shows about that because I want to know what's in it right now. It's only been released a few hours ago, and it's 190 pages or whatever the hell it is. That's gonna be a doozy in my opinion.
They breaking it down right now. They figuring out all of these unindicted co-conspirators and they're breaking it down right now. It's interesting, but yeah, it's a lot more than what people thought.
Yeah,
Trump was doing during January 6th.
Yeah, I can see P. Diddy like watching his TV and it's still like, get him. I gotta go though, Decal. Appreciate you coming in, man.
All right, talk to you soon.
Anytime. I do believe that Trump could have that deportation. I just gave you some of my opinions, but now seeing the comments over and over again, if I can read this with my black ass, what does that say? Is black guy magic? I don't want to get that wrong. I thought it said gay. Black guy magic. You want it to be known in your opinion that MAGA equals the triple K. Wow. There's a lot of blacks. MAGA. There's a lot of blacks in that group. So I don't know if MAGA equals the triple K, but I do see your comment. Real quick, I wanted to address a couple of super chats on YouTube. Real quick, Lord RV, if I'm correct, mobile RV rather. Nobody understands what ownership of land really is. Imodium, are you on the Greenwich or the Washington, D.C. Meridian? Okay, so you're talking to somebody else, but we were talking about, because my last guest said that Trump could never deport so many people. Where would you house them at and all of that before deportation? Well, first of all, Trump has already stated, because Mexico let all them folks come into the country, any of them that come from countries that will not accept them back, like Venezuela has already made it clear they won't take immigrants back. Trump has stated, I'm going to drop them off in Mexico. If Mexico let them use their country as a thoroughfare, then damn it, you're going to deal with them. So he's already talked about, so when you say how are you going to warehouse these people, I don't think that would be that hard of an issue. Like I pointed out, I believe that you have plenty of MAGA willing to allow their land to be temporarily used to house them as a interim to get them out of the country. Okay, you stay on the camps or whatever, probably under some tents, Sheriff George Pyle style, down in Arizona, how you used to have them in pink underwear and tents with no air conditioning in the Arizona heat. Have them stay in there for a few months or weeks in this case until their court cases come up. Trump would probably fund a whole bunch more judges so they could move this shit and process it quicker and just keep processing them and getting them out. Are you going to get every immigrant? No. But I do believe he could make a significant dent in it. I do believe he could make a noticeable dent in regards to getting immigrants out if he got exceptionally aggressive with it and had the right mechanisms behind him. And if Trump wins, I think he would get the right mechanisms behind him. So the largest deportation in history, in my opinion, is likely one of his campaign promises that will come true. I do believe that. Maybe I'm wrong. Real quick in the comments also, Mobile RV says there's only 3 million prisoners in the United States of America. When you really grasp how big this issue is, really is 10 million very fake news. I don't know how many millions of them are here, but I do believe he would get rid of a ton of them. I do believe he would get rid of a ton of them. I mean, because when you listen to Trump, you got to take what he says as a grain of salt. He'll tell you today there's 10 million illegal immigrants in this country, and you'll see him at a rally tomorrow saying there's 18 million. So we know Trump is an exaggerator. Biggest rally in history, more than Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Best watch at $100,000. He's selling a Trump watch. That's the best watch ever. knowing that there are Rolexes and Breitlings that go for way more than that. I don't know about, the facts of what Trump says is best and brightest, but I do believe you would get a lot of immigrants out of here if Trump gets elected. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 50,000. 50, F-I-D-D-Y, 50,000. We can make that happen if you tap the screen on TikTok, look it on YouTube. See always Trump hatings. Yeah, thank you for that hat and I bet that Elvis dig there. Moving on with the program, we will go back to, as always, the one and only DJ Julio, the vice presidential debate. How did J.D. Vance actually do? Now, I believe he actually came across as a little bit more polished than Tim Walz. But what say you, DJ Julio?
That's what a debate is supposed to look like.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
It was very professional. They and I'm even going to give. I mean, Tim Walz is a knucklehead, self-proclaimed knucklehead, and he showed it a couple of times last night.
But he remained professional, though.
Themselves. Yeah. I thought the decorum was good. I thought they handled themselves very professionally. I'm gonna go as far as he handled himself more professional than his than his. Well,
Kamala Harris?
No. Vance handled himself.
Oh, I think, I agree with that. I think everybody I've ever seen involved in a political debate has been more professional than Trump. I think he's literally bottom last. I'm trying to think of some really ghetto-ass debates maybe I've seen. I don't know anybody that does as bad a debate as Trump does. He's in the class by himself.
I do like the way that Trump debates because it's not politically correct. I enjoy that, but I enjoyed this debate last night. I think if it
wait a minute, you enjoy watching Trump talk over people to the point where Biden got to say, "Won't you shut up, man?" or walking behind Hillary Clinton, actually leaving the podium and walking on her side, or talking about eating cats. And you enjoy that shit? That's how you like debates?
I mean, it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah, it's entertaining. I can go to the hood and watch people get killed for entertainment. That don't mean it's a good thing.
But listen. I can't tell you how many times I've sat on this live and watched you talk over somebody or watch somebody talk over you, and myself included in this. Sometimes in order to finish your point, that's where the emotion of that point comes from, and it takes you too far. Really? You can understand that. I can understand that. And the fact that we can both understand that, we can't hold Trump too critical for the way that he debates people, because he's a human just like me and you. He's,
walking on stage behind Hillary Clinton. How do you view that?
What's wrong with letting a woman walk first?
No, they're on stage debating, and he's walking around behind her to the point where she's like, "Damn, why are you behind me?" When have you ever seen that at a debate?
I've seen it at debates, but not at the presidential level. Okay. But sometimes you got to walk away from the podium. Sometimes you just got to get away when it's that blasphemous.
Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs. What say you?
It's possible. Don't care if they do. Don't care if they don't. To be honest with you, I really don't.
I will say this, because you say don't. It's possible. Don't care if they do. Don't care if they don't. I think MAGA and Republicans love animals just like anybody else. Why is it all of a sudden that MAGA don't want to talk about cats and dogs being eaten? I mean, you should care about an innocent pet being eaten that don't deserve it. Why are they suddenly not wanting to talk about this? Every MAGA or every Republican I know, I got people in my inbox, people in my comment section. Why do we have to keep talking about this? Why can't we move on? Why are they suddenly not concerned with the potential murder of innocent pets?
I mean, do I think it's right? No, absolutely not. When I say I don't care, Tim, it's not that I don't care that it's happening or that it's possibly happening or that it might be happening. I don't care about the conversation about it, because from the state of South Dakota and from the state of Illinois, there's nothing me or you can do about it. Maybe you, because you've got a little bigger platform. Maybe.
Now, come on, Julio. That's just because you can't do nothing about a lot of folks coming in at the border illegally, or tampons in the boys' bathroom.
I sure can. I can vote in the right president, and I'm going to.
Well, maybe you can vote in the right president in regards to eating cats and dogs.
And you know what? Trump's already made it federally illegal at a felony level to harm cats and dogs, domestic pets. So when he gets back in office, you're absolutely right. He's going to go after all of the illegal immigrants, not all the immigrants, the illegal immigrants. He's going to freaking hold those accountable that need to be held accountable and send the rest home. And you know what? South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, I got a buddy with a ranch that has 7 sections of land. You know how much land 7 sections is?
No.
Okay, 7 times 240 acres.
Wow.
I think it's 243 acres.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of freaking land. And you know what? They can lease the land to the government, and the government can then do what they want with it.
I believe that. That's what I was telling Denkow, the last callers, that I believe. Yeah, you'd find plenty of people like that.
You was up there.
Huh?
I wanted to come up with the both of you.
Oh, yeah, I don't think Trump would have a problem finding because a lot of the areas in rural America, you see farms nowadays with Trump 2024, Trump Vance. You know, you drive through rural America, there are Trump signs everywhere. So, that's one of the biggest issues is getting these immigrants out of here. I don't think he would have a problem at all finding, patriots on the right that would let them use the land temporarily to house these folks and get them out of there. I don't think they would have any problem with that.
And listen, just to come back on that same statement, I don't think that they would have a problem finding left-leaners, independents that had a bunch of land if they offered them money to lease their land. I don't think they would say no. I mean, there might be some, but
it would be
the majority. The majority would accept the money.
Yeah, the left would do. Some of the left that did it, they would do it for the money. But I think the right is down with the cause. I think you could probably get some 100%. Right to do it for damn near nothing. They would do it because they're down with the cause.
If I had my buddy's land, I would already be sending letters. Let me know if you need my land.
Yeah, you're more like the if I could put my name on a brick on the wall type. They down with the cause. They were willing to pay Steve Bannon money, which he just kept in his own pocket. But to put their name on the brick on the wall, I mean, them kind of folks are down with the cause.
Yeah, well, how can you not be down with wanting to have America first? Have us be more important? I mean, just
because it's Julio.
The Biden. Let me just finish real quick. The Biden administration has said that they've already capped. They've reached the cap of what they can give the hurricane victims. But we send hundreds of billions of dollars to a war where we have no business being in.
I understand. I understand the phrase America first, but let's be clear for folks I'm talking about who are Christian, in my opinion, what I would refer to as real Christians. America first is selfish. We are the richest country on earth, talking about we're going to take care of ourselves first before all of these poor and downtrodden people. We're not going to let immigrants in who earn probably less than 1/10 of what we do because we want to take care of Americans first. So I understand the phrase, but at the end of the day, it is probably the most selfish thing the wealthiest nation on earth could ever say. Is that we're going to take care of people who are already, even if you're impoverished in America, you still are already wealthier than about 90% of the inhabitants on earth. In that country, with all the money, is talking about, well, we got to take care of Americans first. That's why some people are not okay with it. The real Christians that believe in helping out and helping out others, it's selfish. That's the only way I see it.
Right, but right now, the big brother is stealing from the little brother to fund the rest of the world and be the popular person.
Who's big brother and little brother?
Big brother is obviously the United States corporation. The little brother is all of us citizens. Our taxes in the way that we're taxed and the things that we have to pay for that we have really no connection to other than financial. Personally, I'm tired of being robbed. I'm tired of spending all day work. Listen, Tim, you do it too. You do it twice as hard. You got 2 jobs.
Yeah, I get your point, but I'm just simply saying.
I'm tired of working 8 hours a day, Monday through Saturday. I'm tired. I didn't get to watch my kids grow up because at the time I had to spend my life working 2 fucking jobs, Tim. I don't want that life no more.
But do you understand what I'm saying is that even the life you're talking about, working 2 fucking jobs, you need to see what the other 90% of the country is doing. They're working more than 2 fucking jobs and making probably 1/10 of what you make. We are a selfish nation no matter how you look at it.
Right, which is why we need to be about America first, because if we're good, If our citizens are good, our government is good, then we're good to take care of who we need to. But until that time, I think it's time to be a little selfish and get our shit straight.
There will always be downtrodden in America. We will never reach the point where we feel like everybody is good and we can start helping out others. We will never get to that point.
You're exactly right. And it's because we're always going to have lazy people. Those who don't want more. Those who don't want to do what they have to have more. We're always going to have those people. Tim, you're not that guy. I'm not that guy either.
Julio, do you realize that a lot of these countries are suffering because of American policies, because of sanctions, because of America exploiting their countries and their resources? Some of these countries are doing bad because of us. And now we're going to tell their citizens that are trying to flee these countries, don't come here. We're focusing on America first. We are the reason why a lot of countries south of the border are doing so bad.
Give me one that we caused.
Venezuela. Venezuela.
How did we cause that?
We've just uprooted their government. They got all the oil down there, all the sanctions, so you can't do business with them. Cuba is another one. Cuba is another country that's dirt poor because of us, because of our sanctions.
Who was that under that happened?
It started out under President Kennedy with the whole Cuban Missile Crisis. If they don't play ball with the United States, we turned off the world to them damn near.
Well, yeah, if we're going to be the superpower, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're destroying countries, and then when some of the citizens that have nothing to do with their government trying to come here for a better life, you're telling them to go to hell. That's selfish.
Make a life for yourself where you're at, and if it's bad, change it. Your people are going to eventually stand up to the governments of those war-ridden countries.
So they have to
you know what?
So the United States is not going to help them at all. The United States is telling them, you need to stage a coup and try to get rid of that oppressive government, which could get you and your whole family killed. That's the advice you're giving them.
I'll tell you exactly how we're going to help them. It's easy. It's pure math. We're going to send 23 million illegal immigrants back to their homes to fight for what they want, and we'll back them up.
Back them up how?
We're going to send them home.
Back them up how?
However we need to, however we can.
Militarily?
You're not going to come into my house and you're not going to take out of my fridge if you're not contributing to the whole situation. I have this conversation with my kids.
So in other words, we're not going to help the immigrants out. We're going to send them back home to fight to make their countries better at what could be the cost of their lives. I mean, you could be sending people back to die. You're okay with that?
I'm not in control of anything other than if they came here legally, they can stay. Legal immigration is the foundation, as you've said a million times. Legal immigration is the foundation of America.
I just think what you're saying,
the genocide on the Native American people, but we won't talk about that.
What you're saying to me sounds cruel, though, Julio. It just sounds like we don't give a damn about you.
What's more cruel? Sending them back to fight and earn, or watching our American people suffer? Our veterans, they don't get shit. They don't get shit. They don't get no help. The people in freaking the hurricane places right now, they're not getting shit. Trump and Musk and a bunch of the wealthy people that have morals, standards, and want America to be great are down there helping right now. While our president and chief commander and his first lady are opposite sides of the freaking country, one vacationing, one campaigning.
I don't think the people in the hurricane-ravaged areas, as you say, are getting nothing due to the Biden administration. They
got a cap.
Yeah, I mean that happened during the Trump administration too.
$3+ million is already raised for them in that GoFundMe that Trump set up for him, and he's a bad guy.
Well, a bad guy with a good cause can still get through.
Yeah, but a bad guy isn't going to continue to do good causes. Sorry, I got a phone call. I'm sorry. A bad guy isn't going to continue to do nice things. I mean, shit, when he got into the office, he was just under indictment, facing impeachments, which were the majority of them, 2 failed impeachments that couldn't get through all the way of the government, all the branches of government.
Well, wait a minute. Let's in regards to the impeachments, with Mitch McConnell in control of the Senate, do you think even a legitimate impeachment would have got through?
Yeah.
No. Mitch McConnell was not going to.
Listen,
The guy who stole Obama's Supreme Court justice pick was going to let a legitimate impeachment get through on Trump. No way in hell that was going to happen.
Well, I disagree.
Okay. All right.
I disagree with that. What's this Jack Smith shit?
That's what I was going to ask you before we move it on. Jack Smith is produced what could be an October surprise, basically because the Trump administration or the Trump legal team has been so damn good at delaying the cases to the point where it'll never come before a court, at least before Election Day. Jack Smith was able to find a judge that said, well, you can release what you have to the public. What do you think?
Okay. So Jack Smith, isn't that the case that got thrown out that Jack Smith is trying to appeal to get back into court?
No, I don't. Well, it didn't get thrown out. It got delayed indefinitely.
Okay. But which one? I'm pretty sure it was Jack Smith. Anyway, if it got delayed indefinitely, the courts aren't willing to take it up. So if the courts aren't willing to take it up and continue it, what makes you think there's anything in there that we haven't already heard and thought about?
Well, because the judge was appointed by Trump. The judge down there in Miami was appointed by Trump, at least in one of those cases. So people feel like that judge.
Jack Smith setup.
Huh?
It's a Jack Smith setup then.
How so?
Well, I mean, if you release something that you really shouldn't be releasing and it gets released.
No, the judge gave him the right to release it. So it's not a setup. He got permission from the courts to do that.
Which, in my opinion, it feels like it might open up Jack Smith's for several defamation lawsuits. Because none of this stuff has been proven or taken through the court.
Well, I don't think Trump wants to have to explain what he's coming at him, what is true or not. I don't think Trump's going to sue him for defamation because that then means Trump has to defend his case. Trump is trying to delay this shit. He ain't trying to get an acquittal. He's trying to delay it. If he go after Jack Smith for defamation, now he's giving Jack Smith the right to open up the whole damn ball of wax on him. I don't think that's going to happen.
But it'll be in civil, so it won't be shit.
Well,
because the lawsuit's civil, it's not criminal.
The E. Jean Carroll case was civil, and look how that went.
Well, yeah, look how it went. Where's it at? What's it doing right now?
It's collecting money. It's collecting money. Trump owes $100,000 a day in interest on that case. It's collecting money is how it's doing. It's doing pretty damn well.
Yeah, that one's going away too. We know that, Tim. Come on.
All right, Julio. All right, you always drive a hard bargain. Huh?
If we're going to talk, let's be real. Do you really think that case is going anywhere? Or do you think that she's going to... The E. Jean Carroll case, do you think she's going to have to pay that money back, or do you think he's going to actually owe that money?
Well, she doesn't have the money. It's in bond because he's appealing it.
Escrow.
Yeah, but my response to you is this: E. Jean Carroll or her heiress, whoever, because she's an older woman, somebody on her side is going to get some money. Now, I'm not going to suggest that it may be. She won what, $88.5 million. She got $5 million the first time for a defamation case. Then he defamed her again, and she got another $83.3 million. In my opinion, Trump's best hope is to get that judgment lowered because it's a big-ass judgment. But I don't think he's going to get it overturned in regards to him defaming her because he stated she never went against Trump for rape. She went against Trump because she wrote a tell-all book about him assaulting her, and Trump decided to say it belonged in the fiction section and started calling her a pig and all of this shit. So she stated, what's in my book is actually true, and he defamed it by saying it's a lie. And that's when the whole court case came up, and she was able to show enough to jury for them to believe what she's saying actually happened, such as Trump said, I don't know who the hell she is, and said she looks like his ex-wife and all of this. So once she won $5 million, he wouldn't shut the fuck up. So she sued him again. I don't think he's going to overturn all that.
I know how it all went down. And I know that you're probably saying that for a lot of the people that don't know that are listening in, and I appreciate that.
So you think he never defamed her?
I don't think that he said nice things about her, but I don't think he was inclined to do so. So why would you? But brings me to this Jack Smith thing. Now, Jack Smith releases all that shit, all that defamatory, unproven hearsay, if you will, until it's proven in court, opens him up to however many cases of defamation.
You do realize prosecutors have immunity, don't you? You do realize prosecutors pretty much have immunity. Something Trump should recognize.
But not against election interference. They don't.
That's not happening, DJ. That's not going to happen.
Maybe not. Maybe this one I'm wrong about.
Yeah, you're wrong about this. All right, I got to move it on. But Jack Smith at the worst will lose his job. That's about it. Julio. Yeah, by the way, Naeem Barber on YouTube says, he refers to you as the $5 Indian. Says $5 is always yapping. He's talking about you. He calls you the $5 Indian. Go ahead.
Tell him it's $86, man. $86. I just deposited that shit today, brother. $86 and some change.
So you do get a certain amount of money because you got Native American ancestry?
I have land on the reservation that I get paid for. I share with a group of people, and it's nothing. It amounts to, I think it's like $160 a year.
And you're the same party that don't want to give other people reparations. I gotta go.
Bro.
I'll catch you later. All right, moving the program on real quick. Shirley Jamison, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your support there, Shirley. And if you don't like it, don't vote for Republicans. Trump donated $25 million to help all the victims. I'm not aware of that. I know, what is his name? I say Dana Carvey. Dana White, not Dana Carvey. Dana White of the UFC donated $100,000. So Trump did start a GoFundMe page. Shout out to him for doing that for the victims in hurricane ravaged. Mainly, it sounds like it's Asheville. Western North Carolina sounds like it got hit worse than anybody, but Georgia and some other place. But Trump did start a GoFundMe page, and it raised quite a bit of money fairly quick, but there are a lot of victims. So even if he raises 5 or 10 million, there's a lot of victims down there. But shout out to him for doing that. I'm not aware, though, as somebody is stating that Trump donated money himself personally. Probably did, though. Now, I'm not going to try to portray Trump as a bad guy in this, because to me, everybody that participated in his GoFundMe page is a winner, and he's a winner for doing it. But at the same time, I am going to give him a little bit of criticism, because Trump doesn't do good for people simply out of the kindness of his heart to do good. In other words, you don't need all of the fanfare for doing it. You ever heard of somebody, you find out they've been donating money and helping people out for a long ass time and nobody ever knew about it? They weren't bragging about it all the time. Trump is doing it for the cameras. Now, the people who need to help needs to damn help. They don't care if you're on camera or not, but Trump is doing that for the cameras, because while doing what he is for people in those areas, he's contrasting that and using his belief that Biden and Harris are failing them at the same time. So he is trying to pit his efforts against Biden and Kamala Harris. To me, you shouldn't politicize a catastrophe like that. You shouldn't be doing that. But Trump is Trump. And continuing on to Shirley Jamison. Yeah, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for the support. Real quick in the comments. He raised a few million when he's a billionaire and could just give them more, says Mario Hernandez. Yeah, he could give them more, but the fact is, if put it this way, if every billionaire gave a few $1 million, the world might be a better place. So I'm not going to take away from him if he did that. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 70,000. Appreciate you folks that are doing that, helping out the program. We will continue on with Des D. Good afternoon, Des. Welcome to the program. Talking about the vice presidential debate, by the way. Did J.D. Vance kick some ass, or do you think Tim Walz came across as competitive? Looks like the box may be playing a little bit of a game again. We'll give the box a chance to reset. While that is happening, I don't know if I'm having trouble on both of my... Let me try this again. Okay, there we go. The hell is he doing it because he wants you to think he needs to be president? He's a freaking billionaire. He doesn't have to do shit. Well, true. But it does look good. Like I said, I'm not taking away from Trump helping out the downtrodden. I'm not. I just don't like the fact that he is trying to use it for political capital as well. You know, if I'm going to come and help you out while you're going through some shit, but then I'm going to look at your neighbor across the street and say, see, he ain't doing nothing for your ass. Why do I have to do that? Why can't I just help you out of the kindness? I don't like that he's doing that. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of folks do because at the end of the day, you don't like the Biden-Harris team, but I'm not a fan of doing it that way, but that's just me. Real quick, I did want to thank, I can't see the name there, Life of Henry. Thank you for that subscription. Appreciate that and your support of the program. Let's try it again in the box. We had an issue a moment ago. We will try with one of my other subscribers, Shay. Good evening, Shay. Welcome to the program. Are you there?
Hello.
Hey.
I'm here.
Did you catch the vice presidential debate last night?
Absolutely.
JD Vance kicked some ass?
Absolutely not.
You think Tim Walz held his own, huh?
I think Tim Walz in the beginning was absolutely petrified once the camera started and he was the first person to go and he was a deer in headlights. But as he got into the groove and he started to answer the questions, he really started to unthaw. And he, I feel like, is like competitive in nature, of course, and being a man, but we're not going to talk about that. He wasn't about to let JD Vance wash him. But my best friend made a very, very good observation. JD Vance was speaking more in layman's terms to us. I feel like Governor Walz was speaking more to more articulate, bigger words, bigger, stuff
bigger
like that.
word. Now, JD Vance is a Yale graduate. You got to explain how was JD Vance speaking in layman terms and Walz was using me. You got to give me some examples of that.
I feel like when JD Vance was explaining everything, it was more digestible for those who are uneducated. I don't know another way to say it. I'm being for real. Don't laugh.
Oh
I'm
my
being so
God.
serious. But let's just call a spade, right? Republicans, what I'm starting to pick up on, Republicans are more in rural areas, and rural areas are
True.
notorious for not being not being well versed, not being well traveled,
Educated is what you're trying to avoid saying.
Yes, I am, but don't do me like that because I don't want it to come off as like a typical Democrat snob. Because I feel like at this point, left, right, blue, green, orange, purple, yep, it's all racial slurs to me at this point. You call somebody a Trump supporter, people go crazy. You call somebody a conservative, like I am so sick of all the name calling.
Well, let me make sure I get clarity because this is a free speech, uncensored program. Are you saying, you can deny it, but what I'm hearing is that you believe that the Trump side of the aisle features a whole lot of uneducated people? Am I hearing that right?
You are hearing that absolutely correct, and that is what I'm saying.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's just the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the parties. When the Democrats and the Republicans switched, and whenever that was, I know somebody will probably fact check me. I don't care. When that switched, it was just more so to uneducated people. If you go into inner cities, inner cities have more educated people in them because they're the ones that help stimulate the rest of the states. That's just what it is. So I feel like when they both were speaking, they were speaking to their parties. I don't believe that anybody that's undecided, I don't believe they swayed one way or the other. They were just talking to those who are already voting for them. It was very boring. I feel like JD Vance had the edge. I'm going to just say it. I feel like JD Vance won because he didn't do what everybody expected him to do. He didn't come out there and act a plump fool, cat ladies, this, that, and the third, the dogs and the pets and the cat. Like, he didn't go out there. He didn't go out there and do all of that. He was very refined. He spoke well, and he was more in the zone. I feel like Tim Walz was more. in his head. I don't know if he overly prepared. I don't know how that.
But you know, the thing about it is the way you describe the difference between Republicans, rural areas and the Democrats being in urban areas more educated. Those two candidates are exactly the opposite. J.D. Vance, Yale elite education, and Tim Walz, born in rural Nebraska, and now he's a governor up in, for the most part, he's from rural Minnesota. So he kind of fits the narrative of the uneducated, and J.D. Vance is the highly educated.
Essentially, but when you look at Tim Walz and when he ran for governor, he faced a lot of odds. So he was like, wasn't his districts all surrounding him was like all red
Republican, yeah.
Nobody won in a certain amount of time, and this, that, and the third. But both men are educated. Tim Walz was a teacher, a history teacher.
That is true.
Now, and J.D. Vance went to Yale. So these are two very educated men.
Yeah, but J.D. Vance because I got 3 college degrees, but I ain't gonna put myself in the same category as somebody with Yale. J.D. Vance has basically an elite Ivy League education. That's just way up there.
Mr. Liberal, do not ever play yourself like that. You are an educated black man. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. I'm a registered nurse, right? And I went to school in HBCU. I have a bachelor's degree in nursing. I'm going for my master's in nursing informatics to be a data analyst for healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter where you went to school at. The only thing these jobs care about is that you went to school. I was up against people who went to Ivy League schools, Georgetown, VCU, Virginia Tech, because I'm in Virginia. Like, all of these credible places, I don't make less money than them, and that doesn't mean that they're smarter than me.
I like the way you put that. I'll take the reprimand, the ass kicking. I like the way you put that. However, I will say this. I have never heard of a president that graduated from DeVry. I have never seen that. So I do believe at that level, it does matter where you graduate from.
I don't, because that just speaks to, I think about this whole politics and this whole election very pensively, and I'm going to tell you why. As brown and black people, when the colonizers came over from where they came from, because that's literally what they were, they came, with the boats full of people that look like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Constitution was created, it was never created for black and brown people.
True.
And the stigmas that come with, you have to go to Yale, you have to go to Harvard, you have to do this and the third and XYZ. I feel like all of that is complete bullshit, because the goal is to be educated. The goal is not to go to the most the
Ivy League,
because you go to Ivy League.
Yeah, most of that's more surrounding nepotism and networking and who you know when you got those degrees from Ivy League. Real quick in the comments, Will G says, Vance, talking about J.D. Vance lied his ass off. Trump, he says, he's bringing up the Trump peaceful transfer of power on, and that, because J.D. Vance tried to say that Trump, engaged in a peaceful transfer. And he says Trump didn't even show up for inauguration while he flew home with classified documents, magically unclassified with his mind. Wow, that's a lot there. But that is a good point. Go ahead.
But I feel as though, just from the outside looking in and just dealing with people in my family that have mental illness, Trump is like the poster child for a narcissist. And the issues that I have, this is just me personally, when it comes to left, right, center, Democrat, liberal, whatever you want to call everybody, a lot of people that look like you and I say things like, I got off the Democratic plantation because the Democrats were never doing things for us. But what people are failing to realize is that they went from a plantation to a cult.
Ooh.
Trump has a very cult-like following. These people borderline worship him. And Donald Trump said he's going to do this, X, Y, and Z. And what about the economy? Didn't you have more money in your pocket when Trump was president? Hell no, I didn't.
But a lot of people think but Shay, a lot of people think they did. A lot of people do feel like they were doing better financially under Trump. What can you tell them?
They were doing better financially because these weak-minded people had it in their mind that Trump told them that they were doing better. Now, are we doing better under Biden? Absolutely not. And as a registered nurse, I can assure you that Trump mishandled that pandemic greatly. And that's me working on the front lines. The things he was telling people to do, the things he was telling people to say, like Georgia, Florida, and Texas, I consider them their own countries. They were walking around, they were walking out without masks. They weren't protecting people. People say, don't take the jab, this, that, and the third. But then Trump speeded up and X, Y, and Z. If y'all really think, and I'm just talking to your whole entire audience, if you think for 1 second that the government is going to tell you everything that the government is doing, you're absolutely ridiculous. I go on these lives, they bring up these facts, these people sit around all day and accumulate these facts. The government is going to tell you what they want you to know. And I say that because if you go on one.org, it's completely different information than the other.org.
But but even as a nurse, you should be able to admit some of the things they told us during the pandemic. In hindsight, we now know was wrong. We now know they got us hyped up and was demanding we do some things that they should never have done. And it's like some people got fired for not being... Go ahead.
Such as what? What do you feel like?
Well, everything from leaving your groceries outside for 24 hours. But some people got fired for not getting vaccinated. Now, in hindsight, was that a good decision?
So let's talk about that, because I'm a healthcare provider. I was not mandated to take that vaccine. I took it because Florida was accumulating over 28,000 cases a day. Texas, 50,000 cases a day. Georgia, 30,000 cases a day when the pandemic was happening. People were dropping like flies. They were burying bodies in trailers.
Yeah, but what about the notion that during the pandemic, because flu and a lot of other illnesses, influenza and stuff seem to have disappeared. What about the idea, because this is what some people are alleging, they were just deeming every damn thing as a COVID death. So in other words...
No. Them people that died for COVID, a lot of the people that died for COVID, on their deathbed were begging for a vaccine. The same very people that supported Donald Trump, and I know this for a fact, those same people who... it's my right to not wear a mask and this, that, and the third, and they were saying all of these things, were the same very people that, as they were dying, wanted this damn vaccine. So the mandates were not for everybody. That's first off. Secondly, the places where they were being mandated at had high death rates. They had high COVID rates. And if you're at the point where you have to choose between affecting more people or killing more people, the government had to make a tough decision. Like, we're not lawmakers, we're not economists, we're not any of these things. We may be intelligent people, we may have common sense, but the government had to make a decision. Now, do I agree with the mandatory vaccination? No, I feel like you should have the choice. And as nurses, we're taught in nursing school that you have the right to die. Like,
what about the developmental issues that a lot of children are now dealing with by them closing schools, making the kids no longer, because social experiences is what makes us. And when you take children in...
glad you brought that up. I am so glad you brought that up. Keep going.
So when you take children out of school, all of that social interaction and social development that's good for them, by homeschooling them, you can create all kinds of mental deficiencies. What say you on that?
Let me tell you something. Do you know what these people on these red lives say? Because it's mainly the red lives. They say, how they don't want their kids to learn about transgenders and they don't want their kids to this. Yeah, right? So I get that. You as a parent don't want that, right? But these are the same people who say how they don't support censorship. But if you limit your kids from learning certain things or being exposed to certain things, you need some form of fucking censorship in order for them not to be exposed to it. That's why I say that people who follow Trump are, one, caught like, and two, not intelligent. Because if there's no parameters, and I'm serious, if there's no parameters in place to prevent your child to being exposed on the internet, you can put all of the blocks that you want to put on these internet websites and try to control your kids as much as possible. But if you're protecting your children, you have to have some form of censorship, right? And the whole thing with taking slavery out of the textbooks. Slavery is why fucking America was fucking built. Like, America was built off the backs of brown and black people. It was built by the indigenous people who were not white people. They were Native Americans, the motherfuckers native to the land. And I know that because my grandmother was Cherokee Indian. Her father was from the fucking Caribbean where the first boat was set at. So all this bullshit that you don't want your kids to learn one thing, but at the same time, when you're on the internet, you want to be able to spill hate. Okay, cool. But you have to have some type of censorship in order to protect your fucking child in the first place. This shit irritates the shit out of me. So as far as kids having developmental delays, parents love to say that they have the rights to their children don't have no rights. Why the fuck didn't you teach them? Why the fuck didn't you teach them how to be social? If that's the case,
all right. Shay?
That shit don't make no sense to me.
I'll leave it at that. I got to move it on, Shay. This is not our first time talking, is it?
It is.
I'm glad it happened. Come on back anytime.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. And by the way, for you folks who may have been fans of the old Eddie Murphy movie, Harlem Nights, I won't take that ass whooping personally. All right, looking in the comments real quick. Will G, by the way, Vance was super anti-Trump before he licked his boots. That is true. That is true. Vance was indeed very anti-Trump. He referred to him as Hitler and all of that. You know, they got the song on, I'm a never Trumper and all of that. Yeah, so fair enough. That was a good call. I enjoyed Shay previously. So going back to the box, tap the screen, by the way. Get the likes up to about 80,000. We can make that happen. You guys can watch the next call. Literally rub my ass around in the dirt like Shay. But that was rough. That was rough. She held her own. Looking in the comments real quick, I do want to continue on. Yeah, and all of what does that says? Walt's family is voting for Trump. What's the point? In all of Walt's, you're saying that in all of Tim Walt's family is voting for Trump. So what is the point? I do believe Tim Walz I don't know if his whole family is voting for Trump, but hell, you got members of Trump's family that's voting for Kamala Harris. I don't know if that has any relevance. I don't know if that stuff has any relevance. You're going to always find somebody in somebody's family that is going to vote for the other side because they don't believe that person has done anything for them when they got some personal grievances or whatever. You're always going to find that. I'm sure there's somebody in Kamala Harris's family, or maybe on her husband's side of the family that's voting for Trump. I'm sure there's somebody out there like that. Wait, so she was saying it's on the parents. So explain the violence in the hood. What? I don't know where the correlation of that is, but in regards to violence in the hood, there are some irresponsible parents. I guess that's what you're trying to get at. When you talk about what's going on in the hood, there's a lot of dynamics at play. Poverty being one of the major ones. A lot of people in the hood are fighting and committing acts of violence for financial opportunity because the level of struggling is so damn high. But I don't know where you're going with that. I'll continue on with the program. Certainly asking that you guys tap the screen. Maybe 80. You guys are showing the program a bit of appreciation. So I certainly want to applaud that. Get the likes up to about 80,000 if you will. Poverty breeds violence. Yeah, poverty breeds a lot. Crime, distrust, division. It's what did they used to say in this? I think Eric B. and Rakim, without no money ain't a damn thing funny. Poverty breeds a lot of bad shit. Why has Joe Biden not helped the states affected by this hurricane? They gave billions to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, but nothing to our own people. That's not what the governors of Georgia and North Carolina are saying. Governor of Georgia, Kemp, who is a Republican, said he's been in contact with Biden, got his personal number, and he's gave him everything he asked for. I think the notion that Biden has not helped him is what we were talking about earlier. Trump is stating this stuff to put himself on a plateau. Trump is not only helping the folks that are suffering from this hurricane, but he's also putting down the other side while doing so. And a lot of people, if you only listen to Trump or you really believe Trump, they just fall for it. But the governor of Georgia and North Carolina are both saying that Biden and the Biden-Harris team is helping them out quite a bit. So I'll leave it at that. Going back to the box, Trump is politicizing a natural disaster. I agree with that 100%. He is politicizing it. I definitely agree with that. Navi, the author, I think I'm looking at here. Let me go ahead and make that happen. Good afternoon. Welcome to the. Actually, I got a pimp. Furback. Good afternoon.
What's up, Tim? How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, did you see the vice presidential debate?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Now, real quick, before you continue on, Moogly on YouTube asked, what exactly has Trump done to help? He set up a GoFundMe that's raised over $1 million already, Moogly. Trump is helping the folks who have been ravaged by the hurricane. He is helping. Go ahead. Now, what did you think of the debate?
I kind of agree with the last guest. I think Walz got him, though. I think it was very subtle, but I kind of picked up on it.
You think Tim Walz got JD? You think he beat JD Vance?
Yes, and the reason I say that is because I think he brought a few things to light if you was paying attention, which, I was kind of bored. So it wasn't entertaining, so I had to figure out what the hell's going on. So I think it was very clever by him. I think he kind of rope-a-doped him. And in the beginning, I think JD was kind of interrupting when it was cussing AB and all of that. But the first time he got him to shut up is when he brought up any kind of thing about Project 25.
Yeah.
He had no response.
Yeah, Project 2025 is like Trump and JD Vance's kryptonite. You pull that shit out, they backing up because, I got some folks in my comment section and even sending me instant messages saying that one of the creators of Project 2025 is endorsing Kamala and that this is tied to Kamala Harris. I don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, I heard that shit. It's a Hail Mary at the end of the game. I mean, we know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 seconds left. We know what the fuck you're doing. But another thing he got him on was he basically told him, use the new trick, bro. He said, if it wasn't for Pence, you the new Pence. You the new Pence, bro. So, and he made him admit, you put Trump before the country?
I think that's valid. I mean, MAGA may not like to hear that, but I do. I mean, certainly when you look at how awful JD Vance was referring to Trump, he did kind of put Trump, because I think he tried to get Trump to it. I mean, he tried to get JD Vance to admit that Trump lost the election or something like that, and he wouldn't even do it.
Yeah, I think silence was the answer. Yeah. I think if you was on the fence and you thought there was any kind of thing nefarious about that was going on and you really wasn't following it, that was pretty much a slam dunk right there, in my opinion.
So you think Walz won last night, huh? I haven't heard anybody say that. That's kind of a first. I mean,
it's kind of what you said about Trump and Joe's last debate. I think the expectation that, JD was going to come out there and be crazy and drop out his radical shit. Yeah. So I think what he did was he beat expectations because they really wasn't that high. Yeah. You know what I mean? They just expected him to be crazy and off the chain. And like I said, in the beginning, he seemed to kind of go back and forth. But I'm telling you, if you watch it again, from that Project 25 question on, it was over.
Yeah, there is, in my opinion, my own analysis, and I know a lot of Trump, my beloved MAGA supporters, have tried to say he ain't got nothing to do with it. There are so many links to Trump in Project 2025 that it is hard to take his. Because listen, at the end of the day, Trump is like any other politician. He's not telling the truth 100% of the time. They all do tell some lies. So when Trump says I ain't got nothing to do with Project 2025, well, we know why you're saying that. But the amount of links between him and that document, in that publication, it's numerous. Like, it's really, really numerous. I don't think they're right. If there was a left-wing publication about letting, transgender folks play on the wrong team, and it was about this whole left-wing America, and that publication had as many connections to Kamala Harris or Biden or Obama or Hillary Clinton as Project 2025 does to Trump, the right wouldn't buy that candidate didn't have nothing to do with it. I don't think, to me, it's not logical.
And like I said, if you had any doubt before last night, because he was definitely swinging for Trump on everything else.
Bro,
Why not say right then, hey, Trump has nothing to do with that. He just said that. He was mute. He had nothing to say.
Yeah, because if you say he doesn't have anything to do with it, then you open up Pandora's box for him to then give you all kinds of examples of how he does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Walz did all right. I think he lowered expectations too, because he's quite a bit of a firecracker himself. So I think he came out there to try to show who the adults were. I mean, I think I've been saying that on your line that I think people want adults back in the White House. Like I said,
I was going to say that. How did it feel watching a vice presidential debate that was just boring? Notice it's been 24 hours now, almost since that debate. There are no crazy memes. There's no cats and dogs song being remixed. There's nothing wild that came out of it. We watched two adversaries, a political debate that was just normal. There's nothing crazy that came out of it.
And Julio, I hope he's stretched today because I'm sure he pulled a hamstring again. But to that point, I've been saying that MAGA, they get twisted up because they simply just say I want to be entertained. Because he said it. It's entertaining.
He did say that,
and that's what Trump is.
Well, Takesha said the same thing before him too. She said the same thing as entertaining, and she wanted that shit too.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, what you expect from a reality TV generation? When I first started coming on your live, you're like, why the fuck are you talking about Honey Boo Boo? Because I see a direct fucking correlation to this shit, bro.
I do remember that. Wow. Yeah, you are going back. I do remember that. Wow.
Yeah. So I see a direct correlation. People want to be fucking entertained. You know what I mean? They don't want to see the sausage made, but if you're making the sausage, they want you to clap your hands and do the accordion hands and say you're the big league and the best to ever fucking do it. And that's what they want.
Yeah. Well, I'll move it on, but I agree with you. I want to get back to the point where we have an effective politician that is not, as Suge Knight once said, dancing in all the videos, trying to be on the stage. I just want somebody who runs the country and just leaves it at that. We don't need you to take applause. We don't need you to take a lap. We don't need you in front of the camera all the time. I want to get back to that.
Me too. So you calling him the Diddy of politics?
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
I gotta go. You're right. All right. Catch you later. And that is what he was talking about. Sean Combs or whatever his name, Puff Daddy. Yeah, you want to produce it as not dancing in the video, and and that's what I'm saying is I would rather have, if Trump is going to be our next commander in chief, so be it. But somebody that doesn't need credit and adoration for every damn thing they do. Just go do good and leave it at that. History will give you credit if you are a great leader. You don't need to get it on the spot all the damn time. Such as what he is doing with the hurricane. If people are being helped by Trump, they'll come forward. Once they get on their feet, they'll come forward and thank Trump or thank his GoFundMe page. He don't need to be on the news dancing and telling us about it all day, every day right now, comparing himself to Biden and Kamala. Those folks will come forward eventually and say, look, without this GoFundMe page, we would have never been able to do this, or we would have never been able to do that, or I used the money to get a car because it was lost. They'll come forward. You don't need to take credit for that. Looking in the comments real quick, and Moogly says, and the funds, referring to the funds that Trump raised, he says the funds are not being tracked. There is no connection to any charities either. Is that true? Because Trump has raised over $1 million. He's saying that the GoFundMe funds that Trump has raised are not being tracked, which could lead to criminal charges if they're misused, by the way. That's wire fraud. If you're raising funds for one thing and you're using them for something else, people have done that. Lied and said their kid had cancer or something and got a bunch of money on GoFundMe and used it to go on a cruise. Yeah, you can get a charge for that. And Trump doesn't need any more charges. We know that. But he says that the funds are not being tracked and there is no connection to any charities. Yikes. I see in the comments, Alicia says his legal fees. Trump wouldn't do that. Trump would not do that. Say it ain't so. Come on now. Let me go back to the box. Trump should retire, enjoy life, says SD. So should Biden. Well, Biden kind of got forced into retirement, but shout out to Nancy Pelosi for doing that, who, if Kamala Harris is victorious in, 31 days or so, Nancy Pelosi will go down in history as a hero. She will go down, because without Nancy Pelosi, we would still probably be dealing with Trump versus Biden. They don't want to come out and tell you right now, but after, might be a year or two, maybe once Biden has accepted retirement, there will be books written. My guess is Nancy Pelosi will probably write it herself, or maybe her daughter, who does really good documentary work, will come forward and say about how her mom made the right phone call, somehow, some way made an offer Biden couldn't refuse, threatening them with the 25th Amendment or some bullshit, some way or another. But Nancy Pelosi is behind Biden stepping down. Going back to the box, I'm calling it right now. Trump is winning with over 300. So Michael Martinez on YouTube says that Trump is going to get over 300 electoral votes. Really? Oh, that is possible. You only need 270. So getting 300 is not exactly a slaughter. I think Hillary Clinton and Trump. I think Trump and Biden, rather. I think Trump got, 306 or something like that over Hillary Clinton. I think Biden kind of won by the same amount. So could happen. It certainly ain't outside the realm of possibility. Let me go to the box. We'll continue on with the program, and I'll bring on up, I don't know what I'm looking at there, but one of my subscribers, is that High Top? I always give my subscribers first digs. Good evening. Hillary had the popular vote, though. Yeah, but we're talking about the Electoral College. High Top.
Hey, Tim, how's it going?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. Did you catch the debate last night?
I caught parts of it, and what I'll say is Tim Walz was more like being original, and J.D. Vance was more buttoned up. And just like I say, I don't think people were expecting much from J.D. Vance. And, he looked better than people thought he was going to look.
Yeah. He was quite professional. Do you see J.D. Vance as a suitable vice president for this great nation?
Oh, no way.
What's wrong with J.D.? By the way, real quick, you got a loud background. If you could turn your television down or something.
I'm sorry, man. I had to mute my TV.
Okay.
I got my headsets on, and I could hear you, but I couldn't hear my TV. So
okay.
Yeah, but J.D. Vance he reminds me, he's like a bully, in some kind of ways. Like an educated bully.
An educated bully. Wow. I will say this. Out of all four candidates, we're talking Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, Trump, and J.D. Vance. Out of all four of them, J.D. Vance is the least popular, and Tim Walz is the most.
Right. Because J.D. Vance, the way that he goes at Kamala is, it's nothing short of ridiculous, man. With no respect, and I wonder.
Give me an example. What has he did to Kamala Harris that you believe is disrespectful, or said about her?
He calls her not qualified, and tried to use like uneducated, and all of them trying to get in her bedroom.
The bedroom I can get, but keep in mind, people are saying that Trump and his supporters are not educated too. I just had a couple callers on that said that damn near all of MAGA are uneducated.
Well, I'd probably say 75%.
What the hell? Yeah, you believe 75% of Trump supporters, that's tens of millions of people, you believe they're uneducated?
Well, okay, Tim. I'm gonna put it like this. I don't know whether it was It's your life, but a lot of Republican supporters are from rural areas.
True.
You know, and I mean, and it amazes me with them, but they always want to come after city people, you know, big city people, but they live a completely different life than from city people.
That is true.
You know, so I think they got a much different view of things. It's just like, okay, I'm a retired over-the-road truck driver.
Okay.
And I believe the reason that your rural areas, you know, is because, like, back in the day, and still, they had the AM stations, the blowtorches, and all conservative radio, and that's all that's all they've heard all their life.
Yeah.
The Rush Limbaugh, the Sean Hannity's, and it just drove a narrative with them, you know. I mean, because I hear people from rural city states, and they'll complain about what's going on in blue states, something that doesn't affect them in any kind of way.
Now you make a good point, because I do hear far more Republicans, conservatives, and MAGA, as you pointing out, that live in red areas complaining about what's going on in blue areas than I do in regards to people that are living in blue areas. You don't typically hear Democrats in liberal cities bitching about what's taking place in rural America. They don't give a damn what they're doing down there. You are correct. Most of the complaining is rural America, talking about how life is in Chicago or San Francisco. People in San Francisco don't give a damn about rural Alabama. They're not talking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
And then the thing that get me with them in the red states, they're always going to say people in blue states want handouts, and that they don't work. I mean, because if you listen to a conservative, a liberal doesn't work.
Yeah.
He just wants handouts and he just wants freebies. But we're the states that support the rest of the country.
Yeah, that is.
So I mean, explain that to me. But they sold such a bill of goods on that right there that they believe that. I mean, it's no jobs in those rural states like that, like Montana and Idaho and stuff like that. I mean, so they should just live and let live, because they're really not contributing to the country.
Yeah. But what about the notion that, obviously crime is ridiculous in liberal cities, and they don't see that, and also too in rural areas. They do enjoy the traditional lifestyle where they're not dealing with LGBT all over the place and all of this progressivism. They like the traditional lifestyle.
Well, okay, Tim. I mean, don't complain. Okay, don't complain when you live in a traditional lifestyle and you don't have shit. I mean, I'm gonna put it plain and simple like that. Now, people that live in blue states, that's where the money is at. That's where the industry's at.
I agree with that.
That's where the money's at. So any place that you get money, you're going to have corruption. You're going to have crime. It's a trade-off.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I was born and raised in New York City. And when I was 20, I moved to Georgia. Completely different lifestyle. You know, I mean, the money that I made in New York, no, I didn't make in Georgia, but it was an easier life in Georgia. Yeah. I had to give up some things. I can't complain about it, but I'm not going to hammer a blue state because of the crime that they have, because I know where there's money, there's going to be crime.
That's a good point. Let me ask you this before I move it on from you, though. Jack Smith releasing pretty much what he has. Do you believe that there may be some validity in regards to the notion that Trump tried to cheat in 2020? Or do you think that's just a witch hunt to prevent him from being president again?
No, I believe it's some validity. I mean, look, 2016 is in question to a lot of Democrats. I think it was cheating going on there. But as Democrats, hey, we want to concede it. Hey, we can say amongst each other, yeah, well, you know, some cheating going on. Yeah. You know, we were cheated. You know, but and realistic, hey, it's over with, and we can't live on that.
But you believe Trump himself, you believe Trump, while actively being the president of the United States, was trying to actively steal an election. Is that what you're saying?
Without a doubt. Come on.
Wow.
I mean, it's damn near been a proven fact that they were trying to put the pressure on Zelensky and them to dig up dirt on Biden.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, I mean, Lev Parnas is, you know, basically, you know, that MSNBC interview, that documentary, he basically outed all of them. Giuliani, the Trump administration, you know what, Giuliani, so I'm going to put him with the Trump administration. I mean, they did, that's cheating or trying to cheat.
All right, I got to move it on.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
Now, I don't have a problem with Republicans trying to win an election, but try to do it without all the propaganda and bullshit. I mean, I be getting mailers at my house here in Georgia with Kamala with a damn Russian uniform on, and with the Hound, the Hound Hitler.
Comrade Kamala, you getting publications of Comrade Kamala?
Yeah. I'm getting mailers with Mexicans walking across the border with knapsacks selling fentanyl. Now,
Jesus.
There's one thing you can bet: somebody that's going through a checkpoint trying to seek asylum doesn't have a knapsack full of drugs.
That's some good old.
What you say?
Yeah, good old swing state literature you're getting there. I gotta move it on though. So, is it safe to say you're still kind of on the fence about whether to elect Trump?
Hey, I done jumped the fence, Tim.
All right, Hot Top.
I'm on the other side of the fence, and I've been there. Just like I said, I've known about Trump because, just like I said, I'm from New York City. I'm from Jamaica, New York. He was from Jamaica Estates.
Oh, okay.
And see, it's about 10 years difference in our age. So I'm from the era when Trump started, kind of his reputation started growing. But people in New York still couldn't stand him. And it just amazes me how he was able to come to these red states and sell them on his bullshit. I mean, I'm still amazed by that.
He might be your next president. I got to move it on, Hot Top.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, man. Yeah. I'm going to give you that.
We'll see.
Take care, Tim.
Anytime. Thank you for coming through. All right, looking in the comments, High Top, come on back anytime, man. Anyone no good did he, wait a minute, anyone no good did he really was racist back then? I don't quite get what you're saying. I'm assuming you're saying that anyone knew that Trump was racist, but I can't, you got to rewrite that. Donald Jessica Trump does not have immunity and will be tried as an adult. Donald Jessica? You mean Donald J. Trump does not have immunity and will be tried as an adult. What are you talking about? What are you talking about there? Every election, there is a scare about the border. I don't know. It's a little bit more this time, though. I don't recall the border being as big of an issue in 2020 or 2016. Certainly when Obama was in office. Now the right tried to say Obama, just like every Democrat, they say it's for open borders. But then once Trump started getting in trouble for separating families during his term, they decided, well, Obama was doing it too. Yeah, but you were so busy back then saying he was for open borders, you couldn't tell the truth. Fact is, Obama was really securing the damn border. You're calling him the deporter-in-chief, but you couldn't tell anybody that he was doing what was right by the border because you wanted everybody to believe he was for open borders. So it wasn't as much of an issue during the Obama term, in my opinion. Dems don't have the votes. They are bringing illegals in to substitute the losses because they know they cannot win, says Captain C. Now, he's stating that Democrats are going to lose next month, but they're bringing in all of these undocumented illegal immigrants, and I suppose he means they're going to try to make all of those folks vote so that they'll win. That's comical. That's comical. Now, I will say partially that there is something to the notion that Democrats are pro-immigrant in regards to getting votes, because they will eventually become, what do you want to call it? They will eventually become legalized. Eventually, you let them in, they get residency, get a green card or whatever. They have children. Those children are automatically, what do you call them, anchor babies or whatever the case may be. They are American citizens. And fact is, immigrants will turn into Democratic votes. It's not going to be immediately like my viewer is saying. That's not going to happen. The immigrants coming in now are not going to affect the election next month. I don't buy that for a second. But they may affect 2028, 2032, 2036. And I'll tell you why. Just like the African-American vote continues to go Democrat, because a hell of a lot of our grandmothers give us these stories of why you should vote this side because of how bad the other side treated you. These immigrants are going to pass that down to their children, that when we came to America for a better life, one side treated us like we were rapists and murderers and said we were eating people's animals and pets. And the other side gave us an EBT card, maybe gave us a cell phone, helped us find a job, helped us get a driver's license. I mean, this is what's going to happen. So it's not going to happen right now. It's not going to happen right now in 2024. It's not going to turn into a whole bunch of votes for Democrats. I don't buy that. But 2-3 elections down the road, it absolutely will. It absolutely will. They will absolutely be telling their children and grandchildren how they got treated when they came to this country by one group versus the other. And I don't think there's any denying that the Republican Party is not pro-immigrant. We can talk about we don't mind as long as you come here legally. The Haitian migrants in Springfield are legal, and they're treating them like shit too. So that will stick. Not to mention all of the folks now going to Springfield with hate in their heart and believing they're eating cats and dogs. I mean, obviously Trump being a Republican president at one point, saying that they're eating cats and dogs and making these horrible stories up, that's going to pass down. You can assume those Haitian migrants in Springfield, anybody that's in Springfield is probably 10 years of age or older, will remember this period for the rest of their lives. Because some of them folks are frightened. They're getting bomb threats, their schools are shutting down and shit. They'll never forget this. That the president of the United States, or former president, presidential contender, told people around the world that they were eating cats and dogs, and all of a sudden their whole town had all kinds of drama. They can live to be 95 years old, and they'll remember that. They'll never forget that. Looking in the comments, Moogly says border crossings are down. I have heard that, but in my opinion, the damage is likely done in terms of who's voting for who. Real quick in the comments, he incited violence, says Alicia. I don't know if there's officially been any violence because of what Trump said, but I'll certainly say he incited some hatred. Because at the end of the day, people are pet lovers. You telling folks that people are eating folks' pets and shit. Yeah, he incited. I don't know if any violence took place, but he certainly has incited some problematic responses. Going back to the box, Miss Mo Betta, good afternoon, one of my subscribers. Good to have you on, Miss Mo Betta.
Good evening, Tim. Good evening.
Hey, hanging out like Mike Pence on January 6th. So,
I'm hanging like a loose tooth myself.
So did you catch the debate, or was it boring to you as well?
Yeah, they could have sat and had some tea and little scrumpets or something, I mean, was it terrible? No. So what happened is everybody expected it to be fire when they came out there. Oh, it's just shooting daggers and everything. And they were disappointed because we were like, oh my God, that's Vance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Questioning who he is. We all know he don't like Trump. For whatever reason, Trump chose him to be his running mate. Vance don't like Trump.
Well, I will. And it's interesting you said that. I'm watching a progressive YouTube show, what is it, the Young Turks or whatever, somebody stated on there, I don't believe Vance believes what he's saying. I think he's just saying it because he wants the power. Somebody said that. I don't even think Vance believes what he's saying. I don't know if that's the case, but I agree with you. The bar was pretty low for Vance like it was for Biden on June 27th in his debate, is that everybody expected him to act one way, and all he did is had to surpass that. Biden failed. Biden didn't cross the bar, but J.D. Vance aced it.
Yeah. Now, Biden just showed his age at that last debate. He did, and we can't chalk it up to nothing else but that. It's not like he's inexperienced or anything like that. He's just old. You understand what I'm saying? And he's been in politics for a long time. So, I mean, his time, the chapter in that book is done.
Yeah, I think Biden was in Congress at the age of 29. So
29 years old.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think Vance is experienced enough. Now, when they talk about experience, he got a law degree or whatever, but he's only 40 years old. What has he really done? They talking about Kamala. What has he really done to say that he can hold down his ground as the vice president? Now, they'll dumb it down and say that he doesn't really need to do anything because the vice president doesn't really do anything, but they're holding Kamala to a whole different expectation.
Yeah. Do you think she's capable? Do you think she's capable?
Who, Kamala?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've watched the Senate, what they call those meetings that they have on there and stuff like that. She has been very engaged when it came to when laws and all of that stuff was having to being passed and stuff. She was very engaged, and this is where again MAGA and especially the black ones, y'all are not really y'all not looking at any of those. Let me tell you something. If you read the Willie Lynch letter, you'll understand why he has so many black Trump supporters.
But do you hold, now, you talking about Trump, but do you hold Kamala Harris accountable at all for all of the months she was saying Biden was totally capable, and then he gets on at the debate stage and sounds like that, which makes it clear Kamala Harris and maybe a host of other liberals were kind of lying about Biden's cognitive abilities. Do you hold her accountable?
Do you think that she's gonna get up there and say, "Oh, this man is old, he can't run"? Come on, we got to do a little better than that. Of course, they knew he was declining mentally.
So she was going to give us a president that she knew was not necessarily capable of another 4 years. You don't hold her accountable for that?
No, she wasn't. What they were doing was putting their plan into play. Like I said, when you forewarn people, you forearm them. Now you see Trump really has nothing to go against Kamala with, so he's making up a bunch of lies. They knew what they were going to do already.
I don't know if you're explaining away her lying to the American public and having folks continue to invest in a president she knew was not cognitively capable of handling the job. You don't see her getting no blame for that at all?
No. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't. You can call me a hypocrite, call me whatever, but I don't. Like I said, you can't. It's like a game of poker. I'm not going to show you my whole card. They would have shown. You know what would have happened? They would have been dragging her through the mud and all kinds of stuff. That's like, oh, she's not having no sit downs. Because all y'all gonna do is pick apart whatever she said.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Listen, that was a chess move. I'm sorry, the Republicans didn't see it coming, but that's how you get a checkmate.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I do believe if she's lying to the American people, even if she's playing a game of chess as opposed to checkers, she still should be held accountable. She was telling us Biden was far better than he actually was.
Well, we know all we hear is lies. Trump lied yesterday, said that Biden wasn't in touch with the people from the hurricane. Yeah. You're straight lying. Come on, bro. Yeah. And then they still don't believe it. Even with the governor himself getting on there, said Biden called him, he missed his call, and he called him right back. He said Biden stated to him, whatever you need, we got you. The governor told Biden, we're good. We have what we need. So y'all stop with that lying, talking about, the Kamala and Biden are not in there. They're not on the ground. They ain't got no boots on the ground when it comes to the hurricane. Listen, there's chains of command. There's levels to this thing. You're not just going to show up at these places and hand them money. First of all, FEMA is in charge of this stuff. That's a whole, that they have their own entity. So the government will give FEMA what they need, and then FEMA passes it along. Do we have crooked people that fuck up the money? We do.
Yeah,
we know that.
And while you're saying, I see somebody in the comments. Who the hell said this? I can't see the name. It's kind of blurry, but he says, "Bro, Tim, stop it! You couldn't even do a show because you were sick." And that is true. I took a week off because I was really under the weather. But I want to read something to you because I saw this on YouTube as well. This came from Easy Their Killer. Like the name, all in caps, he says, there are dozens of videos of people claiming they are in fact eating pets. Why do people still call Trump a liar over it? What is your take on that, Ms. Mo Better? Do you think that Trump is telling the truth? That folks in Springfield...
Trump is lying his ass off. The whole story, J.D. Vance himself said he started the fucking lie. You still want us to agree with that shit? Like, come on. Yeah, ain't nobody eat no pets. They might eat animals. We eat animals all the time. If you had a hamburger today, you ate a goddamn animal. Knock it off. It was a lie. He started a whole lie, and it caused a whole bunch of division. And that's what Trump does. This is why I can't respect him. I can't speak for nobody else, but I don't respect because of the division you caused, and his MAGA supporters, he's a battery to them. They feel whatever I'm big enough to say can come out my mouth without any regards. And people are not putting up with that shit anymore. Yes, Trump is an insurrectionist. He the one who incited that shit that happened in January 6th. And guess what, MAGA? Trump lost.
So I guess I was going to ask you before I moved it on, but I think you kind of answered it. And that would be, do you think what Jack Smith is producing, do you think Trump indeed tried to steal the election? But I think you kind of answered that already.
And he has a really strong case. But again, Trump has a lot of cronies in the industry. That's how I'm labeling it. He got a lot of people that he lined pockets. I'm gonna put you in place because he knew he was fucked up. He knew he was fucked up when he entered the door. He's like, I need people in there that can get me out of some shit. And that's what he did. And that's what that judge in Florida, wherever, she dropped the blow. She
was in Miami. That's the one that he was. I think that's the one he negotiated to get another judge to say he could release the documents or something, right?
Yep. Yep. So, and listen, Jack Smith has a credible case, and it must be strong if the judge agreed to allow this stuff to come out. Come on, what else you want? Listen, Trump is like everybody was saying, he's a narcissist. It's hard to deal with those type of people because narcissists don't even want to listen to people that are actually there to help them. You see, he said he didn't have to listen to the doctors. He didn't have to listen to. And they talk about common sense. Let me tell you something. Common sense didn't save over those 500,000 people or whoever who lost their lives during COVID. Common sense didn't do that.
Wow.
You have to have enough humility and wisdom to know when. To listen, when to speak, when to shut the fuck up. And Trump has none of those in his line. That's why I can't fuck with him.
Miss Mo Better, nobody does it any better. Appreciate it. Thank you. Real quick in the comments, I wanted to address a couple statements. That was indeed Miss Mo Better. I still get folks just really pushing this. They're eating the cats and dogs of the people of Springfield. Now, I get folks, when I make videos on this, I get a lot of my MAGA that participate often. Why are you still talking about this? Why won't you move on? Because a lot of these folks do realize what Trump said is not true and it's not helping his campaign. But there are others that are diehard believers. I had somebody in the comments just say, there are people that are saying it. There's videos of people saying, well, there's also videos of the mayor of the town saying it's not happening. There's videos of the police chief saying it's not happening. There's videos of the governor saying it's not happening. Why does a regular, average, everyday citizen claiming it's happening, why does their opinion supersede the whole damn governor or the police chief that's got access, as opposed to this one person that does not? The solution is simple, folks. If it's happening, produce evidence. Listen, there are people who support Trump and people who dislike Trump that'll say any damn thing. Video don't lie. Produce some damn video. I made a video earlier about this African-American woman because she is African-American. We'll just say black. This black woman where she is caught on police body cam sitting down. She's in between an apartment complex. And she's on the sidewalk with a deceased cat, and she's covered in blood. Police are there to deal with the case. Now, everybody said, well, see, here's a perfect example. If you watch the video, and I'm sure a lot of MAGA have seen this, first of all, you can see the police, you can see their uniforms, you can see the car. The back of the damn car clearly says Kenton. So it's not in Springfield. That's the first issue. Second issue is the woman never says a damn thing, even though the police are trying to get her to talk. She doesn't say a word, so how can you be assured she is an Haitian immigrant? She never made a word, never said a sound. So you can't just attribute her to being a Haitian immigrant just because she's brown. So you don't know she's Haitian. It clearly is not in Springfield. But then the third issue is even more fucking ridiculous. I don't care how tribalistic a culture is, how third world a nation is. Human beings do not eat raw animals. Maybe sushi at the most. But even the most tribalistic of communities use fire to make meat more consumable. The human body is not designed to pick up a cat or dog and just bite into it with fur and every damn thing flying all over the place. So the fact that this woman is sitting outside finishing a cat off has no relevance. Haitians, you can talk about the Haitian Haitians do not have in their culture to pick up a live cat and bite into it. Even the cultures that do eat these pets skin them, they gut them, and process the meat the same way we do animals that we eat. She is sitting there with an actual animal that she just bit into. Clearly the woman has some damn mental illness issues going on. That's not how the Haitians operate. You really believe they would just pick up a golden retriever and bite into it while it's kicking and screaming? Have you seen the teeth in the human mouth? They're not designed for that shit. What do you think they are, smaller versions of Dracula? I cannot believe people were sending that video to me as a suggestion that Haitians are eating animals like that. They just sitting on the sidewalk biting into live animals. And people believe that. This will be a lot more believable if people send some real solid evidence. That ain't evidence. That is not evidence. The Haitians, the Cambodians, the Vietnamese, the Asians, none of them bite into live cats and dogs. Can you even digest fur? I don't even think fur is digestible. Stop watching that damn video. It doesn't prove a damn thing. Anyhow, looking in the comments, no, but I felt like they definitely eat a straight cat. Well, I'm going to say what I say on all of these lives, which is why MAGA don't like me talking about this, because it's pretty easy to, I see your comment, Martin Gingrich said, I know I shouldn't be laughing, but I can't stop. I mean, think about it though. Imagine you let a Haitian immigrant spend a night with you and you got a pet and they just pick your shit up off the couch and start biting it. Like, what the fuck is going on in the living room? You hear your cat screaming and you walk in there and dude got the cat up to his mouth. Nobody does that. There is not a culture on earth that eats animals like that. Why would MAGA... Look, I don't want to go into the racial element or say this about hatred, but if you really believe that culture is that damn backwards, that has to derive off of hatred. No human on earth eats animals without using fire to cook the meat. Fire's been around since like the fucking Dark Ages. Even the most primitive islands out in the middle of the damn Pacific Ocean somewhere, if they are eating hogs or something, they're cooking it first. They're not picking up pigs and biting into them. Quit it, folks. Just quit it. I mean, I don't want to go into who's educated and who's not. But if you believe that, if you believe that Haitians are just biting into furry animals, maybe 5th grade, maybe. I'm going to assume you don't have a lot of education. Anybody who saw that video, Alter Ego, thank you for the galaxy. Wow, appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody who believed that video was evidence that Haitian migrants are doing that shit. It don't take you much because you probably got a negative view of them already to believe that. Nobody's biting into live animals and trying to eat them like that. By the way, if you don't gut the animal, all of that can be poisonous to your system. I mean, everybody, whether it's a fish, a hog, a chicken, you gut the animal. You don't pick up live animals and bite into them. Let me go back to the box. Kirby Henry, good afternoon. Cat scream. Yeah, the animal's going to be making noises if you're biting into it. Human teeth are pretty damn dull. I mean, like I said, unless you're some version of Dracula, human teeth are not designed to bite into a furry animal. Shit. Just pick up a teddy bear and bite into it and see how far you get it. Our teeth are not designed to do that. Let me go back to the box. I tried to bring up a guest that didn't come up. Michael, good afternoon. They are racist. They think black people aren't people. I want to disagree with you, but biting into a live puppy, yeah. Michael, good afternoon.
Man, I feel like I got dumber today. Listening to Julio. Good God. Do me a favor. Can you send me a text or something? Let me know whose ass is in there, please.
Say that again.
I mean, good Lord. I said, can you send me a text or some pigeons or bird? Let me know if he in the comments before shit, man. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm telling you, I got that video sent to me so many times of this woman. And by the way, if one Haitian is sitting outside eating a cat like that in the open, then if you believe they're eating pets, you should have plenty of videos. If that is the Haitian culture to sit outside and eat cats in the open, why aren't there more videos like that? I don't know what else to say, man.
There's no such thing. And it's so exhausting to hear the bullshit. It's ridiculous because we're missing the real shit that's going on, like the indictment that was. I mean, like that was released today. I've already started reading it. So
really, have you seen anything in there of interest? I haven't.
Hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You got your signals going in and out. That's what it is.
Okay. No, absolutely. Quite a bit of stuff. Matter of fact.
Give me some examples.
So when you read through it, what you're going to see at the very bottom of every page is all the supporting evidence to everything that's in the indictment.
Wow.
Right. So all the names are redacted. So you got to go through and kind of piece through who all these 60 some odd people are that are listed in this indictment that are redacted. But as you read through it, it's very clear, and this goes out to those people that don't want to believe it. When you read it, if you just read through it, every tweet that was sent was corroborated by the supporting docs. Pence corroborated a lot of stuff. His name wasn't redacted.
Pitt's gonna fuck.
Do you realize?
Pitt's gonna fuck around and get shot. Pitts is really holding his.
It's too late now because it's too late now because it's all in there. It's all in there. Matter of fact, when Trump called him earlier today and told him he was going to throw him under the bus.
You're saying that Trump? Well, he was indicating it because I think he was saying that Pence was, I think he made some kind of statement like, by the end of the day, we might not like Pence if he don't do what we need him to do or something like that. I think he was indicating.
He said that after.
Oh.
He said that, right. He said that publicly. Privately, he told him, I need you to do this. And he knew it was illegal. And he said, look, this is what I need you to do. And Pence said, I'm not doing that. And he said, I'm going to have to. And he turned around and sent that tweet out.
Wow.
I got the doc open. That's on page 141. See, and here's my thing. with whether it's Julio or like somebody else said earlier, Nancy Pelosi and the National Guard, which Nancy Pelosi doesn't have the authority to do that. The one that has the authority to do that is the president of the United States that was sitting there watching it. Now,
why is there so much of a issue with whether it was Nancy Pelosi's job to provide National Guard? I would like for them to clear that up, because there is a lot of people who do believe that Nancy Pelosi was supposed to provide security and she did not do that.
Because they're just parroting what they're hearing on the 3 stations they got, I guess. It's just, they don't want to believe it, right? And they don't understand how impactful all of this stuff is when Trump, and I'm going to push back on something you said earlier. Trump's rhetoric does hurt people. When he said people were cheating down in Georgia last year, and then people went inside I forgot the lady's name, her and her daughter's house, and they had to move.
You talking about Ruby Freeman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, when he put their names out there, what happened? Him and Rudy Giuliani. So what he does impact people. Yeah. Just to come to find out that it was all a lie, and he knew it, and they knew it to begin with. Not just him, all of them.
Yeah.
And Mike Pence knew it. That's why Mike Pence is saying it in this indictment. That's why Mark Meadows is saying it in this indictment. So all of this other shit, and people saying, I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever, just read it. So then you got to ask yourself, if you read it and say it's the government trying to set them up or cover up and all this, so how can you be the party of law and order and all of a sudden you don't trust the system that's been in place forever? See, sometimes you got to make it make sense. And when they can't make it make sense, then you stop looking for the truth. If you don't want to find out that your girl's cheating on you, guess what? You don't fucking look.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's just the bottom line. But when you look at the detail and stop listening to whatever the hell Julio, goodness gracious. Shit.
DJ Julio always draws out everybody. I got to get more MAGA like that. I don't have enough MAGA on the program, but
no, actually you don't, because they're not offering. That's not real solution conversations. It's not real. The reality is this: that's not a real conversation in terms of what's actually happening. That's a real conversation in what he has them believing.
Well, whether it's real,
Jim Jones.
Yeah, but whether it's a real conversation in your mind or not, at the end of the day, that person has the same voting powers as you, and their perception is their reality.
But you just said it's perception. But when they try to use that perception as facts, and you try to take them towards facts, and they're like, I don't want to see facts, then we're not having a real, authentic conversation.
Yeah, but we can't pretend like that's something that is unique to liberals. How long did the right tell us Joe Biden was not capable of another 4 years, and the liberals were like, yeah, he can handle it? Hell, I was one of them. And now we look, because you're talking about MAGA refusing to accept the truth. The liberals look the same way on Joe Biden.
And you know what? And that's how it looked. And it was really hard to even defend it to the extent. See, I didn't agree with it. I didn't think that there was a cognitive issue. I think it was an age issue. And those are 2 separate things.
He wasn't capable of doing another 4 years. Even George Stephanopoulos was asked by some TMZ dude on the street, after interviewing Biden, do you think he could do another 4 years? And George Stephanopoulos made the mistake because Disney tried to correct it. He works for the Disney organization, ABC. They tried to correct it, but he came out and flat out said, no, he can't do another 4 years. The liberals were lying about Biden, but telling the public he was good.
But you called it a lie. And see, that's what I'm talking about. There is no fact. Where is the facts? Where is the medical report that says he's not?
Do you need reports at the scene at that debate? Do you really need medical information?
Are we talking facts or are we talking feelings? Are we talking perception?
Okay, let me give it to you. Okay, all right, let me give it to you this way. Since you're saying medical information is necessary, why are they saying one thing about Joe Biden and how he is cognitive and ready to go, but then behind the scenes, like with George Stephanopoulos, they are clearly saying otherwise. They are clearly saying behind the scenes, this dude ain't gonna make it, but they're going out on the stage and telling the American people Joe Biden can do it. You don't hold him accountable for that, because that sounds like the MAGA stuff you're accusing the Republicans of.
It's not, again, being old and not having your faculties are completely different, Tim. Okay, let me ask you this then. If that's the case, then what we've seen from him since then is not real, right? So him responding to all of these, him responding when he's on TV and he's talking about Israel and the war, and him being able to sit there and have these conversations, him being on the ground today in North Carolina, none of that's real.
He doesn't.
He's not capable of doing that. He's doing it now.
Well, here's the issue. He doesn't work well under pressure. When you're in front of Air Force One or Marine One and you answer a few questions, even then, anytime you hear him say, well, anyway, he's clearly lost his train of thought. When he's saying something, anyway, he's lost his train of thought, and he does that a lot.
Okay, so do we lose our train of thought? And here's what I'm saying.
You're making
excuses.
Go ahead.
No. I'm not making excuses. Matter of fact, every time you hear me come on here, I keep it a buck. I'm not saying that he's at his best. Clearly not. But what I'm saying is, when you're in that seat, two things that I believe you have to have, right? You got to have a team around you. You got to have a strong team around you.
Right.
Because a lot of the information comes to him. You sit in a room with your administration, and you make decisions. He's the mouthpiece for those decisions that are being made, which he can clearly still do because he's doing it now. Right?
Let me ask you your own honest opinion. You can give me your we don't block, ban, or censor. Do you feel confident? What is this, 2024? Do you feel confident from 2024 to January of 2029? Biden would be capable of being commander-in-chief. You feel confident because that's when the next person would get sworn in, January 2029. You believe that Biden would be reliable for that span of time?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I think that's good enough. The fact that you don't know speaks volumes.
But here's the difference, and I told you this the second time I was on your show. He is far more capable in his current position than Trump is, period.
How so?
You know why? And I told you this before, because there's integrity, morals, ethics, and he has the ability to want to bring people together. And he always states that. Even put it this way, you've not seen anything out of his behavior that would even make you consider that he's not for the American people as a whole. That's all he talks about.
I got to push back.
Tell me.
You say I haven't seen anything out of his behavior that would make me think he's not for the American people as a whole. How about refusing to step down when everything shows you should?
He's trying to stand up because of this idiot next to him. He's refusing to surrender this country over to that dumb motherfucker.
All right.
Well, right? You can't even argue that point. Because here's the thing. Even yesterday, when they were in his office or wherever he was, and they said, whoever was talking said, Trump said that you hadn't been able to get a hold of, and then he said, "Did you see how fiery he got? That's an old man." He goes, "He's lying." That's what
I did see that.
Lying, right?
Yeah.
But that's his visceral reaction to him. Because here's the thing, and I said this before, I'll tell you again, because all this stuff we're about to read, they've been seeing this shit, Tim.
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
He knows what the threat is. He's been in. Think about this. Like you just said, he was 29 when he got into the Senate, right?
Yes, Congress.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's in Congress. So he's been seeing this shit for decades. So when he looks at it and goes, "This is the biggest threat to democracy that he's ever seen," and he's sincere about it. That's why he gets angry about it. That's why
I can understand all of that. I just don't understand him not realizing he's not good to go until January 2029. That's where you lose me at, is that he should have been man enough to realize, I need to put somebody that is capable in my place. He's not. 4-5 more years from now, dude ain't gonna be. I don't see it. And I think most Democrats didn't see it.
And I don't disagree with that. But when you're sitting in that position, he's so adamant about this guy cannot return to this office. He was willing to do whatever it took to not make that happen. Had he not had the debate that he had, and on the debate, it wasn't even about the substance. It was about the perception. Because if you go back and watch it, his substance was there. The substance was there during that debate.
I don't know. I'm watching him.
But at the end of the day,
if they ask you a question and you respond with an answer about Medicare that the question had nothing to do with, I don't know if I'm gonna give you credit on the substance thing. I'll give you the last word. I do got to move it on. Huh?
Trump flustered the shit out of him because he's so tired of the bullshit, man. And I'm telling you, my pops is like that. He gets so mad he can't even see straight, but he knows what he's talking about. But if you piss him off to where what you're talking about pisses him off so much, he couldn't see straight after that.
I want to be on your team, but I don't know. To some, it might sound like you making a bunch of excuses for Biden. Michael.
No, not at all.
All right, I'll leave it at that.
But do not give me a text before you bring Julio's ass up here again, please.
All right, I'll try to do that. Appreciate you coming through. All right. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Haven't asked you to do that for a while. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. That's how the program works. We're all about free speech here. You don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section. You damn sure do not have to agree with the host. You know how that program is ran. By the way, if you enjoy civilized dialogue in that fashion, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Looking in the comments, Biden started the whole Ukraine corruption with his quid pro quo even before the war. Even before the war, the Ukraine war was entirely Biden's fault. If you don't get rid of the prosecutor, you're not getting the billion son of a bitch. You think that Biden is responsible for Russia invading Ukraine? I think you're going. I understand the quid pro quo thing, but Trump was trying to do that too, trying to get the Ukraine to give him negative information on Biden. They both were trying to do some stuff but I don't blame Biden for Russia deciding to attack the Ukraine. I think that's a stretch. Wow. Smash that like button on YouTube, if you will. 150, I think we can do that. Uncensored dialogue, uncensored format. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. So if you enjoy that, as I said, follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. You can't. Now, this says Eddie Brady says, Tim, you can't say how long you're going to live. No, you can't, but you can see when you're in decline. I agree with that. Biden don't know. Biden may live to be 100. But you can, look, when you got your own supporters that despise your adversary, I'm talking about folks who support Biden that really despise Trump, that believes Trump is a threat to democracy and is going to destroy this country. When those folks who feel that way about Trump are still admitting that Biden can't do the job, I think it's time for, if you're in Biden's position, it's time for you to accept reality. I've lost the will of my people. Biden refusing to step down, believing that Trump is a threat to democracy, almost gave the reins to Trump because Biden was not going to beat Trump. Shout out to Nancy Pelosi for seeing that. So even if Biden is correct, believing that Trump is the worst thing that could ever come down the pipe, so I got to stay in, him staying in was going to give Trump the job. So at some point, there is a little bit of accountability, in my opinion, that Biden needs to get. I have never understood how democracy can be a threat to democracy. David Patrick, if you're playing word games, it's not a democracy, it's a republic. You know what the hell people are talking about. You know, on January 6th, Trump went to D.C. under the guise that they were going to stop the steal, which is what the signs were saying they were waving around. People believed that the Democrats and Joe Biden had stole the election from the rightful winner, Trump. It's been 4 years and he still hasn't proved that. So that's what they mean when they say he was a threat to democracy or he's a threat to the republic or whatever word you want to fill in, or say he staged a coup or whatever the hell. It's been 4 years. He has not proven that Biden stole the election. I say this all the time on the program. It's a big difference, and I watch 2,000 Mules, half dozen times, all that shit. Big difference between election fraud and Biden stole the election from Trump. There is no evidence to prove that Biden stole the election from Trump. There is no evidence to prove that Trump won the election. Anybody that believes Trump won the election, you can only get to that level with a whole host of assumptions. I saw this happening, so I assumed these votes are going to go to Trump. You need proof. And that's why 60 court cases later, Trump was never able to do that, because he went into court expecting the judges and justices to act on assumptions. They don't do that. You know, illegals or dead people voted. Okay, well, who did they vote for? Well, I assume illegals are going to vote Democrat. You got to prove that. You can't go in there with all these assumptions. You know, polling places are closing the windows so we can't see what's going on inside, or they're making us stand 25 feet back so we can't see what's going on, or Ruby Freeman is passing around USB drives like they're vials of crack, is what Rudolph Giuliani said. So we assume all these people are cheating. You can't go to court with assumptions. If you bring up Ruby Freeman passing around a USB drive, the judge is going to say, well, can you show us what was on the drive? No. We just assume they're cheating on behalf of Democrats. That's not going to work in any court of law. If you watch 2000 Mules, that's also based all on assumptions. We got a cell phone data that show people are going back and forth near a mailbox or a polling place. So we're assuming they're cheating, and we're assuming they're doing it for the Democrats. Prove it. Prove it. We show people stuffing mailboxes, coming back and forth with more ballots going to and from a mailbox over and over again. You see the overhead camera view of it. So we assume that person is committing election fraud, and we assume they're doing it for the benefit of the Democrats. But when you go into court, they're going to ask you for proof, not assumptions. Everything the Republicans were claiming to suggest Trump won by a landslide, it's all based on assumptions. It's all based on assumptions. That doesn't work. That's why we are 4 years out, and that's all we've gotten to. They still haven't gotten past all the assumptions. Looking in the comments, Trump acknowledged that he lost the election when asked if he would admit that to his followers. He said no, he would not admit that. Scammer until the end. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, until I see proof, and if I saw proof, I'd be willing to come on here. Look, Biden served 4 years, but based on what I've seen, Trump got cheated. I would certainly say that. But the evidence that Trump has presented, it's all assumptions. It's all true, Tim. You're blind and biased to see it. No, you're blind and biased to believe it. If you watch 2000 Mules, I say this all the time. How did 2000 Mules do their investigation? They went to Wisconsin. They went to Milwaukee. They went to Michigan. They went to Detroit. They went to Georgia. They went to Atlanta. They went to Arizona. They went to Phoenix. They went to Nevada. They went to Vegas. What is going on in the Republican areas of those states? Is there any cheating there? I don't know. We didn't go there. We only look for cheating in Democratic areas. Everything about 2000 Mules was biased and skewed. Hell of a lot of folks in Washington that have law degrees. Within 48 hours of 2000 Mules being released, Attorney General Barr, Trump's top cop, came out and admitted this doesn't sow shit. This doesn't prove any damn thing. Because it's all biased. They're only looking for Democratic fraud. What's going on in the Republican areas? Did you check any of the polling places there? Did you stand over their shoulders in Republican areas? No, we didn't even check them. We just assumed Democrats are the only ones that cheat. Republicans are honest, Democrats cheat. Never are you going to win in court with that type of stuff. It's just never going to happen. Looking in the comments, Trump administration and the Republican administration in the contested states proved Biden won. Excuse me. And to add on to that, it doesn't help that you're right Trump hired third-party investigators in Arizona that showed that Biden won by more votes than they originally thought. They had multiple recounts in Georgia that each time came back and showed Biden actually won. And then you had these fake elector schemes in Michigan, Georgia, I think in Arizona, maybe in Nevada, that showed Republicans were trying to cheat. You're never going to get any solid ruling that the Democrats cheated. There's too much evidence that the Republicans were doing it too. Another issue, state of Pennsylvania changes the way people can vote, suggesting that the pandemic has affected people being able to come in and vote. You can mail in votes and things like. Well, the state of Texas sued Pennsylvania on the grounds that the change Pennsylvania made to the voting was unconstitutional, went against the Pennsylvania state constitution. So Texas sued them on the grounds that their change was improper. The state of Montana, Democratic governor came forward on This Week with George Stephanopoulos. I watched the governor myself doing an interview, state, we made the same changes in Montana that they made in Pennsylvania, and they're not suing us because Trump won here. That's another issue. Another issue, North Carolina, come on and raise up. Also, before the November election in 2020, for a time, Biden was winning in the polls. Now, Trump ultimately won North Carolina. He actually won North Carolina and got their electoral college votes. But for a time, Biden was leading in the polls. Trump was stating that there was widespread fraud all over North Carolina. People were cheating and committing election fraud in North Carolina. That's what Trump was saying. Once Trump won North Carolina, he never complained about fraud ever again. So we have to ask the question, if you're on record saying that people were cheating all over the state, how do we know you won North Carolina? Are you actually in it to make sure we have free and fair elections without fraud? Or are you just trying to win? Because you're painting a picture that you're kind of okay with fraud as long as it goes in your favor. All of this needs to be considered. And then last but not least, if there was fraud in the 2020 election in states like Georgia and Arizona and Nevada and Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, how do we know that the Republicans who outperformed expectations, the down ballots, the senators, Congress, all of those Republican candidates that actually did better, how do we know they got legally, properly elected? When you cast a vote, on the ballot, you vote not just for president and VP, you vote for a lot of down ballot folks. If there's widespread fraud, that would mean there's a hell of a lot of Republican senators and congressmen that should not have won. Republican Party's not saying a damn thing about any of that. If the election is fraudulent in this state, then that means everybody in the state that won by fraud. They're trying to paint it as if it's some kind of surgical strike only affecting Trump. That doesn't make any sense. There's so many questions that Trump cannot answer in court, which is why I don't believe he'll ever be able to make any inroads on that 2020 election. In the comments, Big Rooster Show. Trump is a cheat, so everything to him, that someone else does is cheating. I can't argue. I mean, look, if Trump is a competitive individual, if you defeat him, he is probably going to say you were cheating. I think that there's some validity to that. Let me go back to the box. I've given my spiel. Navi, the author, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Navi, why you got that MAGA hat if you're against him? I'm not against Trump. I'm not against Trump supporters. I believe that the conservatives, Republicans, and particularly MAGA, don't always get a fair shake in the media. So the purpose of the MAGA hat is to let anybody watching this program know we're MAGA friendly. We don't have to agree politically, but you will always be allowed to speak here. That's the purpose of the hat, to let you know You're fine here, regardless of what your political affiliation is. Navi, good afternoon, or better yet, good evening.
Good evening, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, what do you think? Did you catch the debate?
I did. And it's first and foremost, Tim Walz won that debate.
Tim Walz won.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, right? As a nation of people, we want to see a good fight.
Yeah.
We like to see each other fight, right? And
unfortunately,
the country's in such a bad way. Why? Like, we need our politicians to be the adults in the room.
True.
The rest of us are children. And what I found interesting in that debate for me between Tim and JD was, first, although JD was measured and he was able to speak, he wasn't talking about nothing.
Well, listen, you don't like Trump and Vance, so you may have that opinion, but they believe that JD Vance is spot on, though.
Well, I mean, of course, because only thing that he did was regurgitate the lies that Donald Trump tells. It wasn't like he gave us anything new. I didn't hear anything about real policies. I didn't hear anything about him breaking down how Donald Trump was going to fix the economy, how he's going to convert tariffs into income, and the American people wasn't going to pay the money on those tariffs and increase the cost of living in this country. And another thing that really disturbed me was, for one, he tried to blame the mass pewings in these schools on Mexicans and Black people.
Damn.
That was very, very disturbing for me, because we all know who is behind the mass pewing in these schools, and it has nothing to do with the cartels, nor Chicago or Detroit or St. Louis. These mass pewings don't actually happen in those big cities. They happen in the rural areas, in the well-to-do suburbs.
But I do have to ask, and you're suggesting that JD Vance did not put forth any policies. Did you hear any from Tim Walz?
I wasn't expecting for a vice president to bring forth policies.
What the hell? Wait a minute. You're going to criticize JD Vance, who's running for vice president, is not putting forth any policies, but you're going to give Tim Walz a pass? I don't get that.
Yes. No, I'm not giving him a pass, right? But Tim Walz, not JD, offered to speak on policies, right? When they asked him about policies, he could have just did what Tim Walz did. Tim Walz gave his resume as him as a governor instead of trying to speak for VP Harris.
Wait a minute.
Because
you clearly criticized JD Vance for not having policies.
Not having policies, yes.
Give me Tim Walz's greatest hits in terms of policies.
I like what he's done for his state.
That ain't what we're talking about. On a national level.
Presidential policies. Okay, so we're talking about on a national level. I appreciated him talking about the down payment assistance. I appreciated him talking about what the plans they want to have about comprehensive PPU controls. I appreciated him talking about the child tax credit. I appreciate him answering those questions. The whole China thing kind of threw me off, right?
Yeah.
The China one, I was like,
he was caught in a lie. He tried to fill it in. He called himself a knucklehead, but what he wanted to say, I lied, but he tried to change it around.
Yeah, that was kind of off. But my thing is, I appreciated that Tim didn't do what we was expecting for him to do, which is to talk, maybe tell him get off the couch, little digs of, calling him the upholstery usurper or something like that. I was appreciating that.
You didn't think Tim Walz was going to go there and talk about him fucking the couch, did you?
No, but with the political atmosphere that we're in, you don't know what to expect. And for JD Vance to not, for him not to admit that Donald Trump lost the election, and to keep digging into that thing about Haitians in Ohio, in Springfield, consuming people's pets. I just have a question for MAGA when we talk about this pets thing. Okay, so these Haitians have homes, right? They're not living on the streets.
Right.
So how the hell you know what they got in their pots? Y'all talking about y'all got video evidence of these people.
They don't have video evidence. If they had video evidence, we would know.
We know they're not eating it raw. We know they're not eating them raw, right? So how are you getting this video evidence? So you guys got like y'all got like video footage and it's digging into the pot. You see like the skin of the cat sitting on the counter. Are you looking at Fido's ears? I mean, do we have the hide of Snoopy somewhere that you can show me this video evidence? The thing about it is, and I'm going to say it is racist to actually believe a group of people are going into people's yards or into their homes and stealing their pets and taking it home and cooking it and consuming it, or even saying that they were actually eating it raw and say that you have video evidence. Just like someone saying, I got video evidence that Navi had fries today, but I cooked it in my house. How would you have that video evidence unless I opened the door and let you in?
Right.
It's the most ridiculous.
Well, you certainly are preaching to the choir with yours truly. I've given a speech on it several times. Is that I think there's overwhelming evidence to show that what Trump said is a lie. I mean, you're talking 20,000 migrants in this small ass town, and you can't produce any video at all. The best you can do is some citizen saying it's happening. Like, not one person in a town full of people with smartphones and cops with body cameras, not one person captured this on video. Not one person. 20,000 migrants, and you can't get one video. To me, that's about as big of a amount of evidence that that's a lie as you can get.
You know, we got Bigfoot. We got alien evidence, you know what I'm saying? We got evidence of all type of adult material.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got P. Diddy got thousands of hours of video footage, but we don't got 1 minute of a cat being cooked by a Haitian. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, how about a Labrador retriever covered in baby oil or something? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Something that can be endorsed by Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
But I will say that I appreciated, some people call it boring. I appreciated both of them sticking to what the talking points are. And I want people to point out that I think what Tim Walz was trying to do was try to prove to those Republicans that are turned off by the rhetoric, they're turned off by the racism and the xenophobia and Roe v. Wade being reversed. Mm-hmm. And I think, and so he was trying to say, like, I agree with him. I agree with most of what he said. I agree with him. But I think he was trying to show them that there can be a unity across the aisle, that we do share some of the same ideals. We do have some of the same thought processes, and we are kind of like on the same path. It's just that I don't like the road that he's taking to get there. Like when they ask him about the fracking and building homes, how are we going to drill for oil and build houses on the same plot of land? And then some of that federal land should be protected, and we should be turning over some of that federal land to the Native Americans, right? Isn't that something that they've been negotiating for a long time?
Yeah.
And so now you wanna go against some of the treaties that we have, you know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, building those properties on those federal lands is only going to help corporate America. And I expect for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to be more in favor of corporate America turning a profit than for the American people to get their portion. And I hear people say, like, who's going to pay for all of that? Who's going to pay for the 25,000?
You're going to hear who's going to pay for it, no matter what you talk about. Any social project, any issue to help Americans. The response, who's going to pay for it, inevitably comes up.
Yeah, like and I'm going to tell you who's going to pay for it. We going to pay for it because everybody else got their shopping cart filled, right? When 9/11 happened, corporate America got their shopping cart. When the housing market crashed, corporate America got their shopping cart filled. When the auto industry tanked, they got their shopping cart. During this COVID pandemic, look how much money poured into the 1%. Everybody gets their shopping cart filled besides the American people. And I'm sorry, I'm not MAGA, right? And some of y'all disturb me. You make my toenails itch. But I am still for you getting that 25K. I will pay a higher tax rate for someone who may not believe politically as I do, for you to be able to afford to get you your house.
Because you're talking about Kamala Harris's $25,000 home buy?
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with every American citizen having your tax contributions covering your health care. Regardless if you're racist, you're not a racist, whatever religious sect you're part of, I do not care, because I believe in humanity. And we have been paying and we have been bailing out the 1% for decades. And the working American citizen has not received their bailout package yet. So I am willing to pay that higher tax rate for my fellow American citizens to get us out of debt, because medical debt is the number one thing that sits on your credit report that prevents you from getting a house at a good rate, getting a car at a good rate. Can you imagine what your 401k would do if you don't have to pay for college for your kids, no medical bills, and you get down payment assistance for your house? Do you understand?
As a man with as a man with 3 college degrees, I totally understand, because that college debt is eating me alive. I got to move it on, though, Navi. I can't disagree with you on that at all. Thank you for coming through, though.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Will G, this is interesting. If they see one black person doing it, they assume all black people do it. And that's in reference probably to the cats and dogs being eaten as well. Certainly with a Haitian migrant. If you see one Haitian migrant getting involved in a car accident in Springfield, which it does sound like there's a few of them doing that, or eating a cat or a dog, they believe that all of them are doing. And I've seen the comments like Fancy, I've seen your comment that that's their culture and that's what they do in Haiti. I don't know if it's in the Haitian culture to eat cats and dogs, but I will say this. I don't see any evidence of them doing it in Springfield. Maybe it is part of their culture, but I do not see evidence. And that is not evidence. Is part of their culture is not evidence that they're doing it on United States soil. That's not evidence. It shouldn't be that. I see you said not dogs. Well, Trump said dogs, cats, and geese. I think it was geese. I don't think there's any way to spin the fact that at least some of what Trump said is a lie. People have came up with the cats. I think people are kind of focusing on the cats, but the dog, for instance, I haven't seen anybody even claim they saw evidence of them eating a dog. No one has said that. Some people tried to say with the cat, but no one has said a dog. So at the very least, some of what Trump said, in my opinion, all of what he said, but in some people's, at least some of what he said is a flat out lie. And I do believe he should correct it. Now, Fancy says not an outright lie, an exaggeration. You're telling me people are eating dogs. It's not an exaggeration, that's a lie. It's either they're doing it or they're not. That's it. You don't exaggerate that I'm eating a dog. I either do it or I don't. It's a lie. And like I said, he should never have said it. Dude is part of any culture. He's a liar. Yeah. Oh, you said it's not part. I don't know if I agree with that. Mima Ej. I can't see the rest. You said, dude is not part of any culture. Trump is a liar. I do believe there are cultures out there that eat cats and dogs. I think you can find that pretty easily on social media. There are cultures that eat those animals. I disagree with you on that. There are cultures that eat dogs and cats. But it's not happening in Springfield, Ohio. And I think there's overwhelming evidence to show it's not happening there. As I said on many videos, if you could get a video of someone eating a cat or a dog in Springfield, Ohio, verifiably in Springfield, Ohio, verifiably a Haitian migrant, that video is worth at least $100,000. At least $100,000, which is why I said I would personally fly there and pay a few bucks that I could come up with. I'd give somebody a couple thousand to do it, to show me them taking a live cat, skinning it, gutting it, processing it, cooking it, seasoning it, and eating it. I would film that. You can put on a ski mask. I'll blur your face out if that's what you need. That video is worth at least $100,000 because MAGA's going apeshit trying to prove Trump right. That video would get 10 million views probably overnight. Easy. Shit would be the next best thing since Club Shay Shay. Looking in the comments, in 2023, there are still 17 known countries where dogs are regularly eaten. In some countries like China, Vietnam, North Korea, where millions of dogs are eaten by humans each year. Yeah, I know that there are countries that eat dogs. I know that. And countries that eat cats too. But it's not happening in Springfield, Ohio. Oh my God. And here is the comment I like. Florida Blondie. I believe this is a Trump supporter. Shout out to my female MAGA. I always give a shout out to female Republicans. Everybody say that liberals are going to get all the female vote. Florida Blondie says, oh my God, are we still talking about pets? It's happening. Next issue, please. No, it's not happening. It's not. It's been a month. It's been a month since Trump said they're eating cats and dogs in Springfield. Where's all the evidence? Why do we got to keep talking about they do it internationally? It's their culture. Or some citizen said this. You can't, it's been a month. You can't come up with a few videos? 20,000 migrants. And you can't produce one solid video of somebody eating a dog? It's part of their culture. You can't come up with one video? You got 20,000 people that do this as part of their culture, and you can't come up with one video? That's pathetic. That's pathetic to try to make that sound like that's legit. I don't think there's anything that is part of somebody's culture. I don't care if anal sex was part of their culture. You'd be able to find at least one video of somebody doing that shit. You can't find one video of them eating something they normally eat. Out of 20,000 people with a whole month to do so. It ain't happening, folks. It ain't happening. Real quick in the comments, if they eating cats, they are certainly not talking about pets. Yeah, exactly. Might be eating a little bit of snatch. Can we EST frog legs? Ask for a friend. I don't know. Can we eat frog legs? Are delicious. Damn, the Great Depression, 1950s, 1930s. I don't get, well, I know people were eating animals during the Great Depression. They were eating horses and every damn thing. That's because of the governors. Look, as far as I'm concerned, with so many Americans owning smartphones, having access to the internet, there is no legitimate excuse why there's been a month time and there's no videos coming forward. There's no legitimate excuse you can come up with that. There's war footage escaping Israel and the Ukraine. And you can't come up with a free country to show one person eating a cat or a dog. It's not happening. It is crazy that people keep trying to say it is. I don't want to call somebody a sheep or say somebody's in a cult. But if you believe that shit with no evidence, after all of this time, a whole month has went by, something looks wrong to that. Something looks wrong about that to me. You should be able to come up with a video or two. Well, a lot of animals are euthanized every year. However, these are stolen family pets. I don't care what's happening to animals. You should be able to find a video of somebody willing to show you how they skin, gut, clean, season, and eat a pet. As I often bring up, during the crack epidemic, when you could be put in prison for the rest of your damn life for possession of crack cocaine, it was not hard for reporters to do exposés and get people to take them into drug houses and show them how they cook up, package, and chop up crack rocks. They had no problem finding people who would let them film them doing something that could get them the rest of their lives in prison. But when it comes to the Haitian community, somehow you can't get one video? Not believable. Not believable. They still believe Trump isn't a criminal, so I don't know what else to say. Well, you should have video of it. You should have video. Why not? 4 years have gone by and people still think the election was stolen, just as ridiculous. I will say this. Shout out to Trump, because he can get people to believe stuff with little to no evidence. Obama wiretapped my office. Born in Kenya. Hillary Clinton drinking baby's blood. I mean, I will say that the idea of somebody simply standing up and saying, well, sir, could you show me some evidence? Does seem to be escaping people. Okay, sir, I believe you're telling the truth, but could you show me? Is nobody asking for that? Does all you have to do is say, and thou shalt it is? I mean, okay, this is awful that people, but could you just show me something? Nobody's asking for any of that. If he says something happened, that's all it takes. All right. Anyhow, I do appreciate the 113,000 likes. Tim is being a tool again, says, fuck your feelings. Is that what I'm looking at? How am I being a tool? Is it really wrong to ask for evidence? Is that really out of bounds? You're talking about people eating cats and dogs. Is it really wrong to question why there's no evidence? Does that make me a Trump hater because I'm asking for evidence? If I was a Trump, does being a Trump lover mean you just accept it as is with no evidence? Is it wrong to ask that? I mean, it's a serious issue to be eating somebody's pet. Is it really wrong to ask, well, can you show me some evidence that's really happening? Does that make me possess Trump derangement syndrome? That's what I sound like I'm hearing. There's evidence everywhere if you want to see it. No, there's not. There's not evidence everywhere. Because I've asked folks, my email address is on the front of my account. Every time we had this discussion, I tell somebody to send me evidence, and they don't. I seen the video of the black woman sitting on the ground eating a raw cat. That's not evidence. When the police car says Canton, the woman doesn't speak English or doesn't speak at all, so you don't know she's Haitian or not. That's not evidence. And I don't believe it's in anybody's culture, including the Haitians, to bite into raw animals, fur and all, which is what that woman was doing. Every group of people, tribalistic, third world, you name it, they all use fire to cook meat. There is no group of humans on earth that picks up raw animals and just bite into them, which is what she was doing. So that doesn't count. And people are trying to use that video of that mentally ill woman as somehow proof that Haitian migrants are eating cats. Haitian migrants, it's not part of their culture to pick up a live cat and just bite into it. Please don't believe that. Unless you want to believe that this black group of people are subhuman. Trump is very good at changing the story. He hadn't changed that one. Doesn't make any sense. And I tell you one thing, MAGA wants to get away from it because they know it doesn't make any sense. Tim, there is no video showing Haitians eating cats and dogs in Springfield, but there are videos of white people calling them sand Negroes, the N-word. Wow, and there is video. I have seen the videos of that. I have seen somebody doing that. They calling us savages, and some of these Oreo cookies agree. Some people eat the heart of their kill after a hunt. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But it's not in people's culture to eat raw meat of cats and dogs. There is no culture on earth that does that. There is no culture on earth that eats cats and dogs. And by the way, you see Michael Martinez says it's all over on X. Yeah, it's pictures of people eating cats and dogs in other countries and talking about it's their culture to do it. Over here in Haiti, there is no video that verifiably is a Haitian migrant in Springfield, Ohio. There's not one single video that proves that. That you can verify the person eating is a Haitian migrant, and they are currently in Springfield, Ohio. There's not one video that proves that. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate you folks tuning in. Trump, the Jim Jones of politics, says Will G. Could be some validity to that. It's your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Same on YouTube. Thank you, Will G, for that support. By the way, I appreciate that. Always helping out the program. Much love to you. Catch you guys tomorrow.